Okay. Well, excellent. Welcome back, everybody, to DragonPoetSociety. I'm Nicholas, your DM, and we're going to be back here for another installment. Nicholas 404 has stopped working. For another installment of Lumoria, our campaign. Welcome back to Nate for being here back in person. I no longer have to do all of your Kenku copying impersonations, so that'll be nice. Kat is still with us virtually, very brightly haloed on her screen. But better than not here at all, so we're glad to have her, and glad to have everyone more or less here in person, so that's going to be great. We're going to kick it off with just a quick announcement. The lore videos on the YouTube channel are still going to be coming out. They've just been a little bit delayed with some life stuff. I'm hoping to have another one up here in the next week or so. But otherwise, these will still be going up probably the next day or two after the streams happen, and keep an eye out for other stuff. And with that, we're just going to go right into the recap of when last we left off. The party exited the city of Seoul and was heading to Brightmeadow to learn of the fate of the flickered town, and also to find Anika's family who resides there. As they made their exit, the party noticed a high amount of traffic inbound into the city, a high gate tax, and a rather ostentatious palanquin, sort of closed off and hidden in nice embroidery that got in for free. So something happened there, but they kind of kept on and moved into their days of travel, or their few turnings of travel. It's a 2-day journey, and we got through the first one with last session, but along the way, they started at a nice resting point and drowned some bees for some honey. They researched various books that they had requested from Tennille's Uncle Galen, and began to familiarize themselves with one another's peculiar travel quirks. Amidst some lovely trees and denser foliage later down the line, the party also came across a rather rare sight, a great vertiback, the giant shaggy ground sloths of Lumoria. Using some hard-earned honeycomb, disguising magics, and mage hand coordination, the team secured and took a sample of its fur to kind of get some more their first instance of Lorebright value, but also to get a mention of get a measure of studying both the fur and also the symbiotic photosynthetic algae that grows on its back as an additional thing to study. I believe Rhinoceros picked that. Avoiding some further confrontation with that sort of disguising magic, the team sort of finished its first turning of travel and arrived at the hostel/inn that are the shrines of Elito. This one was a shrine halfway through between the city of Seoul and Brightmeadow, and is Elito is the goddess of roads, of peddlers, and safe travel on the road. And so this hostel was had been arranged with having a nicer stay there in some of the more suite-like rooms from Tennille's Uncle Galen. While they were there, they also met Kesseled, the sole occupant and current caretaker of the shrine. He explained that he was a Vianthan, one of the traveling sort of troubadour-like people, but that his troop was wiped out, and he was sort of the last of that troop, finding refuge and solace, well, grief at least, here in the Shrine of Elito. He explained that lately the roads have become quite terrible and dangerous, citing a Lord of Vultures who has been swooping down and harassing, waylaying caravans and traveling groups, refugees, all of that sort of thing, giving them a chance to surrender their coin in exchange for life, but often branding his victims with his little mark of a winged skull over a wagon wheel. In addition to this other sort of sharing news about the movements around the flickers and this area, Kesseled also mentioned rumors of a overturned or captured Vianthan caravan that has been moving around. It belonged to Kesseled's brother. It was known as the Road Warmers, and had a symbol of 4 horseshoes around a campfire. This was something that he mentioned to the party as a sort of favor to ask if they could maybe look into maybe what happened and send some word back to him here at the shrine when they do discover information. He finally gave a letter from a one Brody Bright Eye, who had left a correspondence for some of the party members who are familiar with him here, and warned of many dangers and interested parties beginning to ask pointed questions regarding the group's activities in Solney. Some seafaring types asking about a particular weapon being used, and some other interesting metrics moving around as folks get involved in this Lorebright program, other powers stirring, that kind of deal. He mentioned that if the party wanted to find him, they would find him investigating some further information in the border city of Lunavir. And for those of you here at home, can maybe zoom in. Lunavir is right here, so getting a big glare spot there from the light, but yeah, a little bit farther on the border between the two reaches there, as far as things go. With that, the party made their first turnings rest here at the Shrine of Elito, and without too many concerns, most of them had quite a nice sleep, except for the party's resident quiet Goliath Slate, who experienced some rather disturbing visions, including having some experiences regarding some white and shining markings around his neck and bald scalp, which faded upon his waking. Without any further traveling disturbances, the party is hoping to make good time to Brightmeadow on their second turnings journey, and we pick up right after they have awoken and exited the Shrine of Elito with the cackler on the shoulders of the mighty Slate. Elsewise, the party is traveling, all six of you afoot. So what's everyone doing?
Cackler, since you're probably got the best view, could you maybe keep an eye out towards the sky?
I'm not going to read through all that. I click in response.
Thank you.
I think I did it at the end of last session, but I give myself Vigilant Blessing before we
Yes,
hit the
I
road.
do remember you doing that.
Okay, I checked it off, but, sometimes you forget.
Netka's gonna wave her hands and put her knit mage armor on.
Okay. Very cool. So the shrine is sort of a hodgepodge building as you sort of turn your back on it. Got a sort of shade cloth awning / stable area adjacent to it, but it's sort of leaning at awkward angles. Looks like it was sort of constructed mishmash style, expanding over time as the various caretakers added to it. And it's sort of built along a crossroads kind of situation, and you guys can see one of the signs pointing to Brightmeadow, and it says about 24 miles. Actually, it should be about 20 miles in this case.
Only 20 miles. Let's try to make haste.
Okay.
I must insist.
So you guys traveling fast, or are you guys otherwise just doing normal travel?
Maybe normally, just in case.
Pace ourselves.
Pace ourselves, and also it'll. As much as I do want to get there fast, if we get waylaid by bandits, we'll get there slower.
That sounds wise. Onward?
I look down at Slate. You'll have to run, yo.
Slate will not respond to that. We'll just continue walking.
Alright.
I'll kind of kick my feet like you're kicking the side of a horse and you want to run. I'll just like kick.
You're trying to spur him. Well, you can put him down anytime you like.
I'm imagining like a 4-year-old child like swinging their legs kind of a thing is the result.
Probably
He's a little bigger, but yeah.
Compared to Slate.
But yeah, compared to Slate, yeah.
It was solid like 3 feet on him at least.
So as you guys are moving with the sun beating down overhead, consistent sunlight here, who is kind of taking point as far as things go for keeping an eye out for the condition of the roads, seeing how things go, what you guys might come across?
I can do it because I'm up high. I can see more.
Okay. We can have 2 people do it if you're up to.
Because I've been on this journey before, but if someone else.
I'll help the cackler and kind of focus more on like the ground if he's looking at the sky.
Okay,
But
you're still at going to be a
disadvantage.
disadvantage. For your sensitivity.
Oh, a nat 20 and a 13.
Oh.
It's okay.
And
That's
Alright.
That's an 18.
That's still good.
Yeah, it's an 18.
Yeah.
It is perception.
Yep.
That'll be 14.
Okay. So this is a relatively smaller road leading to this town. It's still big enough that you could probably drive, a cart, a reasonably sized cart each direction. But it is not the vast causeway that leads into Solny. And you're noticing that it is distinctly more disturbed. It's not paved cobblestone road as much now, so much as sort of upturned dirt or plowed section. The area here is starting to become a little hillier as you go over the next couple hours of travel, and it's starting to move along into open grasslands and things. But you do see some copses of trees, maybe noting them as to keep an eye out later down the line when you're ready for a lunch break kind of thing. It's always important to get shade in this part of the world when traveling. Under the eternal sun, it becomes more of an issue. But you're not noticing anything immediately dangerous. Which one have you got higher? You got 13, you got
14.
I got 18.
You got 18 total?
Total, yeah.
You got 14 total.
14 total. Okay, so to Neil, what you notice is that there appears to be, off to the one side, deep furrows of wagon wheels that are immediately detouring off the road and crashed through the sort of grassy areas, kind of rolling down a little bit of a hill space, or it's going down a bit of a hill. You don't immediately seeing the caravan itself or anything like that, or a wagon itself. You just notice this situation, and you see that as sort of an immediate detour from the path. And as you're looking at, you said you were looking a little bit more at the ground and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You also are noticing a lot of sort of furrow marks in the earth. You see what look like a big swath of grass and dirt that has been sort of dug up in large claws or something like that. So you're noting that.
Does it look fresh? Like recent?
Make a survival check.
That's a 7.
You don't
7. You're not certain.
Okay. What else was I gonna ask? So the claw marks, does it look like what we saw when we found the great vertebrae earlier or yesterday?
No, it does not.
Okay.
But you can't make much more than it looks like it's a pair rather than a sort of quartet.
Okay.
But otherwise, you can't. With that roll, you're not getting
Right,
a ton,
right, that's
ton
fine.
more.
Hey Chirps, can you see any more in that direction from your vantage point?
Go ahead and make another perception check. Sure, I'll
Don't. 11.
11. Actually, with your high vantage, you would be able to see at least a little bit more. You can see a wreckage of what looks like an overturned wagon or something like that off in the distance. It may be because of your height, you're actually able to see over the sort of confluence of small hills.
Yeah.
On top of Slate's back here, on the back of Giants.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. And you're able to see what looks like a bit of a wreckage of a wagon turned on its side and heavily damaged over that direction.
Okay. In response, I look down and I point over. All right, fucking mess indeed.
Okay. Should we go investigate it? I know we have a deadline, but there could be your family could be on the road potentially.
We should see maybe if there are survivors. Good. Maybe if there are, we could question them about what they were fleeing from.
Drown another
Why
beetle.
was this one lord of vultures? I would set up such a trap.
Big brains over here.
We should go look, but we should also know that it's probably a trap.
Does anybody have a way to look closely without us being close?
I could potentially help us get close quietly again, though I don't know if it's gonna like you. Last time it
A
didn't.
wagon isn't a living thing, right?
I mean, you could try and drown it. See what happens.
Always drowning everything we see.
I mean, I figure if he's flying, it doesn't really matter too much.
Did you actually say we could drown it, or did Brandon say we could drown
I mean, if this is gonna be an ambush and he's in the sky, it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah, that's true. It
Like,
would,
he's gonna see us either way.
yeah. Might as well go in, but go in a bit prepared and ready for fight.
Well, it could even be like what that dude Kesselid,
Oh,
his brother.
And I think he wants
Is
it.
it worth looking even just for that?
I'd say let's go over
You
sneakily.
have something to say?
No, I was actually trying to change my voice a bit because whatever
Okay.
accent I was using
Sorry.
was not the right one. But it might be what you get. We'll see.
It's his morning accent.
He's gotta warm up his vocal cords.
Sorry, Brandon.
You're good.
Get
Flo was
called.
ready.
Slate wasn't throwing shade at
So,
you.
am I hearing a stealth check heading over? Or are you guys just gonna keep like an extra perception out? How are you guys approaching?
If it's an ambush, I don't know that stealth is going to be any good.
Yeah, but it,
Perception would be though.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, maybe
Also,
just
like 11 feet tall between the two of us.
This is true.
Okay, why don't we have
We
you
could
two?
also,
Go ahead.
we could also have a prepared actions if they make themselves known.
Can I be up on the shoulders like with
How are you
my
gonna
crossbow like ready to go?
Sure. How are you gonna convey that to the party there, Cat? Renostus?
I'm imagining you're sitting on my shoulders like your legs crossed.
Hang on, Brendan. One sec.
We could be ready to fight should something appear out of the air. I could have a blaster ready. Do you guys have something similar that you could
I'll
have in advance?
like hold up. I'll be like knocking my crossbow bolt. It's like ready to rock.
I
Okay.
was like, heck yeah, and she like twirls her swords and has them like ready.
and Netco pull like a bubble of acid
I really
out
thought
of
you
her
were-
sweater.
I really thought you were gonna pull yarn out and I was gonna lose it.
Slate will just grab the character's legs and be ready to dodge.
All right. So we're readying a couple combat actions. I'm hearing.
I'm gonna ready Word of Radiance if
Okay.
anything nasty gets
It's
in.
close.
Yeah.
What about you, Renostus? What are you readying?
I'm going to attach a potion vial to the top of my staff, and I'm going to have Ray of Sickness ready.
Ooh, nice.
Oh.
Okay.
All of us.
You guys are making your way over. You two go ahead and make perception checks, Slate and Cackler.
Different dice now. Yes. 17.
16.
You're also noticing the sort of wild ride that this caravan or wagon went on, but you're not noticing any immediate area. It's actually a quite open space. Aside from the hills, it's a fairly open space. It's dashed up against what looks like it got upturned by like clipping a large rock outcropping, sort of jutting out of the ground. But you guys make your way closer, feeling confident that, at least to your eye, you're not noticing anything immediately alarming. No weird ropes or things strewn across the grass or anything like that. It's fairly tall-ish grass, more than just clipped lawn. But you're able to make your way to a closer space, and now you're seeing what look like a few piled bodies, and what looks like a flag impaled on a spear through a body. That sort of got it through the mouth. The flag's kind of flapping just over the head of the body of the corpse. Yeah, thank you.
That we know of.
And you're seeing sort of damaged goods strewn about the space overall.
Okay.
And Netco will start looking through the pile of bodies that are nearest where the body with the spear stuck through it is. Just see if she can find anything that like IDs who these people were.
Yeah, go ahead and make investigation. You're also noticing that the flag icon, the iconography of the sigil on the flag, is that winged skull superimposed on over a wagon wheel.
That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20, okay. So you don't really recognize, you might recognize at least a couple of the individuals. only in vague old passing, but one looks like an old butcher from the time that you lived, and things like that. Most of them don't appear to be citizens or townsfolk of Brightmeadow, but there are a couple. One looks like a sort of herding scout individual as well, and both are killed. You're also noticing that many of the bodies, the individuals had that sort of distinct red and white hair of Vianthans. But you're not. They also appear to be. You got a 20 total, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, with that roll, you'd know a couple things. One, you notice that a lot of the bodies seem to show signs of pre-mortem damage, so missing fingers, broken legs or fingers, ankles, things like that. Brand marks of the same iconography on their neck or cheek, stuff like that. Missing eyes, a few of them. But most notably, it doesn't appear to be a Vianthan caravan. You might have seen a few go through in your childhood. But it doesn't appear to be that, just judging by you're not noticing any of the soul strings, which are sort of their leaders. But which wear a particular sort of type of clothing. But most notably, you're also seeing quite an intermixing of individuals. So it might have been a caravan that joined up with somebody, or it might be some refugees fleeing. It's about 2 turnings old. But seems it also, most notably, most Vianthan caravans involve multiple actual wagons, whereas this has just one.
Okay.
So amidst the bodies, though, you notice that they've all been, all their no coin persons, things like that. Most of their weapons are stripped, although there are some remaining.
Okay.
So yeah, while you're doing that, what's everyone else doing?
I'll loot. If there's still some stuff remaining, I'll see what stuff is remaining.
Sure, make an investigation check.
I'll bend over so we can loot.
God.
Okay.
Yeah. I take it back now. Investigation. 11.
11. Okay, so it takes you a little while because it's spread out over the course of looking through the overturned wagon and some of the you see sort of shredded and opened crates, damaged chests, things like that. But what's left, most notably, that you're no coin whatsoever to speak of. But you do find about 25 feet of rope, a couple lanterns, a pint of oil. You find 4 rations. You find 2 short swords, a rather weird, cruelly barbed javelin, and a short bow with 4 arrows.
I'll take the rations.
Okay, so 4 rations.
Does the javelin look like it would be suitable as a weapon? Or more of an implement of torture?
It looks like a suitable weapon. It looks like it's barbed, so that when it's pulled out, it like a barbed arrow. Yeah.
I'll grab it so I have something to throw.
Okay.
But
Yeah. And just mark javelin or barbed javelin.
Just use more. Easy.
Can I investigate the wagon itself for any symbols or paint or anything on it? That
Yeah, go for it. You can make an investigation.
While Tondale's looking at that, I'm gonna keep eyes on the skies.
Okay, just have a standard perception check for me, please.
That's a solid 6.
Solid 6. Okay. Well, it'd be hard to miss the iconography even on the shredded canvas on the side there. It is not of the 4 horseshoes in the campfire that Kessel had mentioned was of his brother's caravan. This one is instead a pair of crossed blades of wheat. So that's but that's about the only thing you get with that roll, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Aside from significant signs of damage, fire damage, things like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Kat, what was your perception?
Listen, 19.
19. Sky's clear.
Okay.
All right.
Can I look around the whole scene and see if I can learn any more about what happened other than just people dying?
Sure. Make a investigation check, please.
Would Anika recognize the symbol with the crossed wheat?
Just make a general intelligence.
That one.
Nope. People died.
Yep.
But they're in an advanced state of decay. It looks like some carrion or something have feasted.
Lovely.
Do.
Perhaps vultures.
19 for
19.
gen intelligence.
You do not recognize that particular sigil.
Some people from Brightmeadow, but it's nothing I recognize, and some.
This might not work. But I guess would it be useful to potentially try to like touch the Lorbright stone to the flag and the bodies?
Do you want to give it a shot?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Do it.
Okay. It'd take quite a while to do it to the bodies. There's about 15 in total.
Maybe that's just the flag specifically.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah. You touch it to the flag, the crossed, the winged skull, and over the wagon wheel, and yeah, you do get a sort of tingling sensation across your fingers as you touch on, the hand that's holding the stone, and you notice a sort of greenish glow that sort of seeps in a sort of whispering gossamer thread that floats along with that. So.
okay. Also go over to the wagon where I saw the crossed blades of wheat and touch that too, just because it seems like it might be relevant.
Okay. This one actually doesn't
Do anything?
yield much.
Okay. It's worth a shot.
Go ahead and make a general intelligence check for me.
Try that again. That wasn't at one. So no.
Party's done today.
So yeah, well, I've been doing a lot of rolls. Anika, you got what for discerning the wheat? Or did you try and
19.
discern the wheat at all?
Oh, I tried to look at to see if she'd recognize the symbol. 19 gen intelligence.
Okay, yeah, you would recognize this. This is when you actually see something on the inside that was a little too hard to carry away. You surmise. These are our wagons used to it's a symbol of goods transportation. And this wagon might have been repurposed, you're not sure, especially judging by the sort of people who have been massacred here. But inside, you see a damaged and overturned case. It takes you a second to place it because it's been a while since you've seen one. Almost looks like a shortened coffin, but a little bit deeper. And it's got sort of ice crystals crusted in, and it's got runes around it that have been damaged. This is some kind of ice chest. In Brightmeadow, you would know that they're used to chill meats to travel in sunlit temperatures consistently along to the city of Seoul. You also would know that they're very heavy. It's a sort of specialized piece of equipment. Usually there's a sort of engineer-type individual who's capable of crafting them, and it's kind of a one-trick pony business kind of deal. But they're pretty important in importing things like fish and meats and stuff like that, which would be part of Brightmeadow's trade. So yeah, but you do recognize that in general, a lot of commerce is under the sort of crossed wheat.
Yeah, I guess this must have been a commerce spot. And is there nothing still inside the?
There's a few rotting pieces of meat,
Okay,
It's nothing we want to take with us.
nothing.
but the vast majority of it seems gone.
It's like this looks like it was a commerce wagon, though, and I guess I did see the old butcher, though it could have just been they used this just to run from Brightmeadow. Take whatever transport you can get.
Some people got out. That
Yes, but this does not give good tidings for those that did.
no. Well, I don't think there's anything else here for us. Maybe we should.
Just thought they're vultures, but they didn't eat the carrion.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, maybe we should continue onward.
Yes, let's
Sounds
go
good.
and let's keep getting those eyes on the skies. I'd rather not be surprised by this.
Renastus, what was your roll?
For the perception,
Yeah.
that was a 19.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so you guys make your way the quarter mile back to the main road, head back in the direction that you're going, sort of the southern, eastern direction that you were headed, mostly southern, I think, at this point. And yeah, a little bit of a somber note, and unusual to see such activity. It's not unusual for bandits to attack and stuff like that, but it's unusual to see such wanton slaughter at such a scale and so close to Solmi. They usually pride themselves on security and having a safe land to live in. So, moving forward, who is taking point on perception for... We'll have one person sort of looking upward, sounds like, so people want to keep an eye, to Anetka's point, keep an eye on the sky, and then one person sort of looking around. Or you can decide if you want to look at something different, but...
Anetka will take lead on looking at the road.
Okay, perception.
I think Chronostus is still very excited about looking around the sky because he's got his... I don't know how long I can hold a readied action. Probably not a long time.
Probably, yeah, not super long. I would say at this point all the ready actions have kind of died down because you guys have been doing other stuff.
Sure. So he'll take the potion off of his staff, but he's looking for a reason to use it, so he's keeping eyes darting around at the sky.
Yeah. Did you roll, by the way, for your random concoction?
No, I didn't. Oh my gosh, level 3 stuff.
Yeah, there you go. We'll go ahead and do that. And then give us the perception check as well. Anetka, what was your result?
3. It's a road, all right.
Sure is.
Even that's in doubt.
It's a road?
What's the word?
Starts with an R.
Can't do things.
Okay.
Around on that.
What you got?
Do you want to know the elixir?
No, you can hold on to it yourself if you want to. You don't have to share it if you want. But I just wanted to see your perception for keeping an eye on the sky.
Yeah, that is a 24.
Okay. You don't notice anything. Some clouds here and there, but they're sort of the wispy white kind that don't stick around in a nice clear blue sky.
Gotcha. Okay.
And you guys continue on for another several hours worth of journey. You're getting a little tired, a little worn with some of the rest. With being in consistent sunlight for so long, and you come to a point where it's starting to get a little bit more hilly again, a little bit more open, rolling fields and stuff. But you are noticing a sort of burst of trees here and there. And it's beginning to get to the time where we're like, all right, we kind of need a break for lunch and get some shade and stuff like that. So you're not really with that roll. You don't really catch a great spot to immediately take a break in. But as you guys are sort of looking around and stuff, you sort of begin to hear sort of a and it sounds like there's a wagon or a caravan rolling up and approaching. It's coming. You guys are sort of at the bottom of a hill, and you're kind of hearing it crest coming from the direction of the next hill up. So, yeah.
Can I mimic sounds as well? Like, if I was hearing
Yes.
that, can I mimic that? Okay.
Is there anywhere we could potentially dodge off the road to hide
Make a perception check.
with a disadvantage?
Yeah, unless you're using your thing.
No way, I'm not using my thing. Oh, those rolled really well. It's a 21.
You look, but but not super close. There's a sort of copse of trees, not too, it's far enough that you'd have to kind of angle more toward them. It's diagonally to your guys' left.
Okay.
And they're coming in that direction more or less. So
Okay.
it'd be hard for you to dodge in time, but you can maybe ready yourself. You've at least caught it. And with that perception, you would also you can hear what sounds like a sort of hubbub and bustle, some clanging sounds and stuff like that. It sounds like it's a reasonably sized group of people.
I have a way we can find a spot to rest, but they won't be able to see us, but we could see them.
Sure.
Yeah. She'll pull out a double-pointed needle and some yarn, and very quickly she'll cast on some stitches, knit them, move them to the other side of the needle, and very quickly have a 60-foot-long rope and rope trick.
Hey, all right,
nice.
nice. Can you
And
see out of the rope trick
You
space?
can see out of the rope
Okay,
trick. There's
yeah.
a window.
Cool. So you guys are quickly climbing up. Is everyone going up the rope trick?
Yeah.
Sure.
Very cool. So you see a
flying up.
yeah. You just see the looping opening, almost like a lasso opening up at the top there. And you guys get in, and then it sort of
Yeah, and
bundles
yeah,
all
she'll
up.
pull the I-coordinate rope in.
Very cool. Yeah, clever use of the spell. Yeah, so you guys get there and you sort of hear... And the wagon... And you see an open-topped wagon of large size. Not dissimilar to what you guys just saw, although it looks like the sort of canvas over-tarping has been taken down. You see it, it's sort of shade cloth stored on one side and bundled together. You've got a couple extra riding individuals and a handful of people who are capable of walking, although some of them are leaning on additional support, walking sticks and canes and things like that. It appears you can immediately see 4 mirror blades in military uniforms. Mirror blades, again, the military force of the Solnian Reach, the Radiant Reach. And they're wearing this sort of mirror, namesake mirror-like armor that really catches the sunlight. They have this sort of yellow sun on a purple background on their tabard. They're escorting the space. The cart, there's actually 2 of them, are being pulled by draft horses, more suited to sort of farm labor and everyday labor than pulling something like this for a long distance. But they're doing it just fine. And you see what looks like the leader. You notice she's got a sort of distinct stripe of like mirror metal on her, like by her collarbone. And sort of a dark tanned half elf looking individual, sort of short cropped red brown hair. And it looks like there is a significant portion of injured people in the back of the 2 carts. Even the people who are walking behind look like they're doing so with laboriously. Many of the people in the back are lying down and seem severely hurt from even just the distance that you're able to see. And they're cresting the hill that you guys were kind of coming up. And that obviously they haven't clocked you guys as you're in this little pocket dimension of invisibility. Yeah.
Anyone that looks familiar?
From this distance, it's kind of hard to tell. But they at least look dressed similarly to lots of, ranchers and farmhands and townspeople that that is consistent with Brightmeadow.
It looks more like people from Brightmeadow.
Yeah, it's similar to the mixture that you saw before, but you don't see anyone with Vianthan heritage. Mm-hmm. Except possibly the leader might have some, judging by the red hair.
Mm-hmm. How would you... I'm thinking I should maybe go down, see if we can find some information about what's happened in Brightmeadow.
I don't know if popping out of midair on top of 4 mirror blades is the wisest thing to
Maybe
do.
wait for them to pass us and then...
Maybe.
Yeah, so... If you guys are okay with it,
I'm like squinting and knocking a crossbow.
No.
I like to imagine that the inside of your rope trick little pocket dimension is all like crisscrossed yarn as the walls.
Looks like the inside of our dice bags.
Yeah. So you guys wait for them to pass.
Mm-hmm,
and then drop down.
Yeah.
You want company?
Sure, just in case.
Well, I think if you leave, everyone has to get out.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it specifies, but... I don't think it specifies, but that would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll say that you guys can stay in there if you want to. Just I'll look it up later. But for the sake of this, do you guys want to stay in or?
I'll slide down.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay.
So you 3 are going out. You're staying if that's possible. Renostis?
I want to come out.
Okay. Slate, what are you up to?
He's reading his book.
Yeah, I guess I'm in there for the moment.
Slate's a very studious man.
Okay, so the 4 of you drop down. And slide down back, and you're seeing. But one of the mirror blades, kind of turns around as you guys are making your landing and stuff, and says, "Sergeant, individuals on the hillside behind." And you see the sergeant sort of wheeling her horse and turning around, and you notice a sort of scar across her eye. She looks up and she kind of rests her arm. It's kind of right on the saddle side, against a blade, but doesn't appear to draw it. And she's kind of calling out to you guys. Fellow travelers, I hope. State your business.
Hello. I have relatives in Brightmeadow. I wanted to come check on them after what happened. How does the town fare?
Okay, so you're shouting. This is like 40 to 50 feet away that you're shouting this. So she sort of says, hold, and you sort of the kind of wagons grind to a halt. And she says, approach, but stay a few feet away.
Yes, and Netkel start approaching.
I'll do the same. I'm following.
Okay. You two following as well?
I'm
Rhinoceros and
coming,
Flo?
yeah.
Okay. So you guys get down to about 10 feet away, and she's like, stop there. So, you were saying?
Yes, relatives in Brightmeadow. I don't know if they would perhaps be with you or perhaps be there. I don't know what is happening.
She gives like a quick glance over the wounded and, well, no half-orc descent individuals, but the state of the town is horrific.
Horrific, and actually not looking for half-orcs. It's a long story. Any tieflings? Any Goliaths?
Not here, although I do believe there was a wounded Goliath. They're holding up in the inn at the moment with a lot of the wounded. Things have turned rather horrible in the last few turnings since the flicker struck. The military's been rather slow to react. Ours was an initial distributed force of scout unit, in fact. Should you go, ask for Captain Ulcidides Exectitius. A big half-orc man, as it were. So Ulcidides, Ulsidides.
Des.
And then Exectitius, Exectisius. A half-orc man as well, big man, dreadlocks. He's coordinating the evacuation and defense of the remaining population. I would say that we are carrying wounded and need to make haste to make it to the city. We're planning on stopping at the shrine that we passed on the way in here. Do you have any news of things over there? Is there space in the shrine?
We stopped at the shrine on our way there. Yeah, we were the only ones. I don't know you as like the Mirror Guard. I know as we were going out, the gate tax into Seoul has increased to 2 gold a head.
Well, that shouldn't be too much of a problem for us as soldiers, but we'll have to square something away for the people. I'm not sure. And you kind of, like, behind her, you're kind of hearing, like, 2 gold. You know, kind of, like, restless mumbling and uncertainty. In any case, a good portion of our forces have been sent to aid Tinderbluff, which was hit the hardest of these towns nearest us. Each of the flickering towns is reporting different effects and different problems. I was not stationed at Brightmeadow when it struck, but I have since seen some of the effects. The animals have been whipped into a frenzy. Folk are growing crazy, and half-beast hybrids are attacking the town. Being spread out as it is, as you know, perhaps, as someone with family here, we had to convalesce around the town itself and barricade ourselves to the east, where the attacks seem to be mostly coming from. Even the herding dogs have been stained by the flicker and are now hunting humanoids around the pastures. Their howls are said to be dangerous, even deadly.
Thank you. Also, we heard news. There's apparently an Erganasi bandit group that calls themselves the Vultures, and they have been attacking people from the air. We just passed some wagons that we believe were attacked, and they killed. It's either surrender your gold or be killed. I would be very careful, watch the skies. There's also apparently another caravan that it seemed to have turned. We don't know it was much about that one. That one just seemed like a normal caravan, but watch the skies.
Very well. Yes, it is troubling news that this is the case. I know of Arcturius, the Lord of Vultures, self-styled as he is. He is known to the military, although his activities in this region are a new development. Thank you for this knowledge. In any case, I'm afraid that unless you have something else for us, we need to keep moving to avoid further damage and to ensure that we get to make our slow way to the resting place of the shrine before too much exhaustion sets in.
Thank you, and this isn't much. And she'll hand them 2 gold.
Okay, you're 10 feet. She stopped you 10 feet away.
She'll put it down at her feet. This isn't much, but it is to help the people.
Lionel, and she kind of points to one of them. Yes, Sergeant, and approaches. Thank you for your kindness and your contribution. I'm sure that will assist at least one of us getting in. In any case, we should continue the front. It seems that you're well armed enough, but I should give you caution. Many herds of stampeding and wild livestock have most violently trampled even some of our soldiers, so keep an eye out for that as well. I would certainly not wish to see any who seek to aid the light of Solny fall prey to such darkness. But if you can aid in the evacuation, I'm sure Captain Ulcidides would be most pleased to have your assistance. Good luck.
Thank you.
And she, with that, wheels her horse and onward and wheeling caravan, continuing away at a very slow pace. But now, you begin to get a sense of how different this sounds to maybe some of the effects that you guys saw with Patches' sister, and also you and Etka are kind of understanding the scale of this problem. If things like the herding hounds and the herds themselves are both being overturned as well. And with that, we're going to go to a quick break so I can use the bathroom. But we'll be back in just a few minutes, so don't go away if you guys are watching at home. We'll be right back.
Woo!
Don't go away if you're playing here either.
Okay, and we are back. Picking up right from our little bit of a break, team just came across a traveling group of wounded individuals coming back from Brightmeadow, led and escorted by a few mirror blades, the soldiers in this region, and learned a little tidbit, very briefly, as the wounded individuals were in a hurry to get to shelter, but learned a little briefly about how the animals in the nearby livestock town of Brightmeadow have gone wild and are causing quite a lot of injuries and problems. And more on that now as we kind of move forward. So, with that knowledge and knowing that you guys have a little bit more time before you reach the town proper, is there anything you guys want to do now as you've just waited and stuff like that? You were just about to take a break in-game for a break for shade and stuff like that. Did you find a verdict on rope trick, by the way?
Yeah, it stays for the full hour.
Okay,
period.
so if you guys wanted to pop back up and go take
so
your rest, you definitely could do that.
let's pop back up and tell the others what we found. Fun fact about Brightmeadow, it's a farming town. So it's just herds of livestock everywhere.
Convenient.
Yeah, and once we get up, Anika will let the others know what we found out.
Sorry, Slade and Tennille are just kind of awkwardly staring at each other. It's like a stare down like the whole time.
Nice tats.
Whoa.
Thanks.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Super awkward, exactly.
Yeah. That's when you guys get back in and are here to share the news.
yes, so yeah, it's all bad. There are sheep and I assume there's cows. I'm not.
Yes, sheep, cows, and goats are the primary three.
Sheep, cows, and goats are the primary thing. And sheep have, for as dull as their teeth are, they have a surprisingly large bite, so be careful. Plus, apparently, the hound dogs can kill people now, which is lovely.
We have
Yeah.
plenty of experience with vicious, dark hounds.
Yeah,
Do you know
I
after
mean-
patches?
yeah, that's true. And we have experience killing large groups of animals, too!
Oh, yeah, by the way, we identified the cloak. So,
As we all look at Flo awkwardly.
Listen. More people die every year from
actually,
cows
Nicholas
than from
has one
sharks.
looking for it.
Take that home.
Yes, and how does that compare to bee stings?
Bee stings? Probably more people than sharks.
Are there even sharks
Okay.
in this
Do you
one?
want to pass
Yeah.
this to me?
I love
Do
sharks.
that.
I'm glad you like sharks. There are no sharks in Brightmeadow. It's a farming town.
No, but I was surrounded by sharks a long time. They're pretty cool.
I mean,
It is.
yes. I'm not anti-shark though. I'm just not seeing the relevance.
I just like sharks, okay?
Okay, well that's established. What's our plan of?
I don't kill those ones.
Well, I mean, they would be very hard to drown.
I mean,
You'd be surprised.
you take them out of the water.
Now I'm thinking you do kill sharks. Anyway, yes. So no sharks. To summarize, no sharks. Lots of cows and sheep and goats. And I don't know if you've ever been stepped on by a goat. Ugh.
Can't say I have. Tennille hasn't. Felina has.
Yeah, I out of character. Both in and out of character, I've been stepped on by goats.
Out of character.
Very.
So the rope chick ends rather shortly after you guys get a chance to get a reprieve and stuff like that. Eat a little bit of your ration, drink some more of your water. It's nice to have a little bit of a break from the consistent sunlight.
But now we're literally in a ball of yarn. Is it really that much cooler?
Wool is a great fabric to wear in the heat. It's fine.
You can make this like, small dimension,
Cotton.
different temperature.
It's cotton.
And so you guys able to climb out down from it, but discussing your options here. You got a little bit more time before you hit Brightmeadow proper. At least you would know this.
Yes, a little more time. Suggest we try to go straight to the inn. So it seems like one of my family might be there, and if not, we can talk to the captain, see if if he's heard anything, especially because I lived in a farmhouse surrounded by sheep, which apparently are attacking people now. So go to the inn first and then we figure out where to go.
That sounds like a plan.
Did I hear correctly? One of your parents is a Goliath?
Yes. The other's a tiefling.
How'd that work?
I'm like doing like math on my fingers. I'm like,
Darlings, I don't know if you've heard of this thing. It's called adoption.
Yeah.
Is that where you disappeared to after you left Brody?
Yes.
And we couldn't find you?
Yes.
got adopted by a Goliath and a team.
Yes. Sometimes you just pickpocket the right people.
Or the wrong people, as it turns out.
Goodness, I better myself.
You would know also that the inn is called the Hanging Hoof.
The Hanging Hoof.
Adorable.
Had my first drink there.
The hanging what?
The Hanging Hoof.
Hanging hoof. I think you said boof. B-O-O-F. Boof.
The Hanging Boof.
Hanging boof.
All right, get on into the Hanging Boof. Anyway, so you guys continue on your way, presumably, yes?
Yep.
Okay. Let's get another pair of perception checks, please.
I can watch the skies.
Okay,
I'll watch
go for it.
the ground.
Go for it. You're also at the disadvantage.
Looking for rabid sheep.
Nope.
What? Ooh, that's pretty good overall. 19 total.
I got confused on which way the sky was.
What'd you get?
A natural one.
Oh, yeah. You know.
You're nodding off.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dirt in the sky.
You got a 19 total?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys carry on for another couple hours after your break. And you guys have been going for a little bit in the day here, and you know that, or at least you're beginning to realize that the spaces around Brightmeadow are all sort of part of the pastures and farming that is used there. It's quite spread out versus the town proper. And so you're beginning to see pastures mostly spread out, fence lines that have been cracked and damaged and broken, huge clods of upturned earth and damaged, churned areas going to and fro across the roads and through these pastures. Like I said, a lot of damaged fence lines, and a lot of the grass is kind of growing in uneven areas. With a 19, with your height, you'd actually notice that there's a couple of corpses on the nearest pasture to your right. It look like a pair of bodies of some kind, just sort of piled.
Oh, so I don't know if they're people or animals.
Yeah,
or...
hard to tell from this distance.
Okay.
So that's what you're picking up immediately. You're noticing a significant number of tracks all around, too. Lots of hooves of varying sizes, and some paws and stuff like that as well. Human tracks or humanoid tracks intermingled a little bit.
I'll let the party know.
Yep.
That's worrisome.
How far away were the bodies?
Probably a few hundred feet from the road itself into the pasture on the right.
Gonna hold up the stone could potentially be useful.
Yeah. I would like to investigate, see if the people, animals, beast hybrids. She's starting to, she's trying to be together, but she's sort of got that 1,000-yard stare.
Awkwardly pat your shoulder and head off in the direction that Slate
Thank
said the bodies
you.
were in.
I'll spur Slate along.
No, you're not getting back up.
Tragic. I will attempt to get back up.
Go ahead and make competing dexterity checks.
Yes.
Oh no!
Ooh, good save.
DM is also making a dexterity
No.
check.
No. Roll 4.
It's not great.
Come on. What'd you get?
What do you get?
I got a 12.
I got a 9.
Yes!
Right, so he's sort of like batting, and then you sort of do that sort of flying leap with some feathers kind of going out, and you get your one talon on his forearm, which is like a tree branch,
Yes.
thick tree branch, and then the other one just bonk on the face, and then you just sit.
I'll pat you on the head, then spur and point.
can just grab you and throw you to the corpses.
Can he?
If you want to.
Just like launch.
Oh no!
Pretty sure I take damage from that.
I'm not going to, but
Okay, so you go over to the corpses.
So I'm suddenly imagining like the cackler like just flying overhead yelling bingo.
So you get to the corpses, nearby them.
I got them fast.
The rest of the party's going too, or are you
Yes.
staying by the road? Okay. So you climb over a series of broken and damaged fence line, timbers strewn all around, that kind of stuff, and get to the bodies. They're sort of plowed into the earth. They are humanoid. What looks like possibly halfling, but it is just a crushed mess of stampeded bone and flesh. They look at least a few days old, and they're just completely
so I'll be seeing like hoof marks, kind of a thing.
hoof marks and stuff like that all over them, and around that space. You even see some like blunt teeth marks on the bone,
Press the stone.
some pierce marks too.
See what happens.
No really effect from the stone.
Okay.
It's too common knowledge, more or less, as far as
Okay.
halfling body or death by stomping.
Anika look among the bodies, see if there looks to be any red or gray skin individuals.
Not that you can notice. There doesn't seem to be much intact skin. Like it's reddish from the blood and stuff like that, but there doesn't seem to be too much in the way of intact skin and stuff like that. You would know though that these first pastures are about 5 miles away from that, so you'd say an hour or two more of travel, and you'd probably be at the Brightmeadow proper region. So
Yes, about an hour or two more, and we'll be in town. That's
as you guys are looking at this space, you hear a kind of weird thrumming sound off sort of in the distance ahead of you from some of the hills and stuff that the fence line seems to continue from, and it is getting louder.
might I suggest we run?
Let's
You're hearing
run.
like a
Yep.
and as you guys are starting to run,
Rope trick.
which way are you guys running?
Back to the road.
Back to the road.
Okay.
You'll have to run, yo.
Yeah, so you guys are running, but coming over the hill, cresting over the hill, is a stampeding herd of cow and bull, and they are looking at you, just beelining ahead in this stampeding, and you're hearing sort of the kind of snorting and growling sounds, and they're making much better time toward you guys. It's about 100 feet off in the distance or so that they crested over this little hill. And we're going to roll initiative.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
How fast can we dash? Probably not
Well,
that
on the bright
fast.
side,
Yes.
Nate, you're
Oh, yeah.
safe at the moment.
I'm literally just going to chuck some patches at him.
I'm just gonna reach up, grab one, stand off two.
Yep. Just grab me and throw me to them. I'll spread my arms and just rain patches on them, just in a ball.
Alright, Sarah, I'm going to have to reach over you here.
I love it.
Of course, some of them are I just dropped 100 gold pieces on them.
Do you want to grab the minis? Just set them.
So you know how adults will sometimes toss
Yeah.
small kids up and catch them again?
Yep.
I'm kind of thinking that, except you're facing the other way. I'm just
You literally
straight up.
You need to throw me so I'm like a bomber, and all the.
Props.
You're in whatever you make things, right?
I do make
Artificer.
things.
Artificer. Just make some gliding wings, and
If I had a
we're good to go.
true, I'd be like Batman. No, I played that character before.
You'd be like Buzz Lightyear.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're
Falling.
flying.
With
This
style.
isn't flying. This is fancy falling.
This is falling.
Falling
With
with
style.
style.
Get the quote
Fancy
right, man.
falling. You and I know that one.
Well, I'm not quoting him. I'm making my own quote. Get off my level.
Oh my god, I love it. That's such a. I'm not quoting him. I'm making my own quotes.
Oh man, we're gonna have
You
a.
think Buzz Lightyear has more clout than me? I mean, he's a piece of plastic, guys. He kills sea turtles.
Ouch.
Wow.
And so do people, but you know.
Alright, so you guys were checking out the stampeded.
They don't have anything explosive.
Throw acid at him. Might just make him mad.
Okay, and obviously don't have proper horde of cows option. So, but they are in a kind of horde
Got like an
formation
area
here.
of effect.
Yeah, area of effect creature.
Area of effect cows.
So I got some horses and other creatures to kind of synthesize
Oh my God,
the
this
same
gives me
effect.
anxiety. I like the front runner though. The little weird little dude.
All right, so we'll see if we can get them better on camera here. So we got the herd coming down the hill here. So I've got to roll initiative for them and get some combat music going so that we can.
Eating steak tonight.
I can get initiative from you guys.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
So I got 22, so 25 to 20.
16. Or no, that's not 25 to 20. 16 though.
So, okay, so 15 to 20.
16.
I'll say
17.
that's 16.
Okay.
The triple 16.
We got triple 16.
I'm
Okay, so
I'm
Flo is 17. What's your dex?
Plus 0.
What's your dex?
+2.
What's your dex, Renostas?
-1.
-1. Okay, so
I
Slate.
want a dex check with 11 dexterity.
What did you get?
All right, Toniel at 22,
No, I got a
Flo
12.
at 17. Okay.
Just roll low on the cows. We can outrun them.
And we got
They're all
16A
cows.
for who?
Slate.
Okay, Slate at 16A.
Anika 16B.
Anika 16B.
Renostas is 16C.
Ren 16C.
And Cackler is 12.
Heckler at 12. All right, so top of the round is Toniel. What are you doing as this bovine herd comes?
Okay. So just where is the road in relation to us?
You guys came from sort of this direction.
Okay.
So sort of past.
How many are there in the herd? Is it just like 3? Is it like more than I can count?
Certainly more than 3.
Certainly more than 3. Okay.
But I would say more than what's represented there.
Okay.
So more than it's a good size, something close to like 8 or so, 8 or 9.
Okay.
And they're moving in a sort of collective herd stampeding kind of situation. So they're actually going to be treated like a swarm situation.
Swarm of
As you see.
cows.
Yep, pretty much.
All right. Well, this
Gigantic swarm of large creatures.
seems like it could hurt. So I'm gonna channel divinity.
Okay.
And put that up. Do we want to do the temp HP on my turn, or I can roll it and then dish it out on the ends of their turns? Because they're gonna probably not be in the same space as me if we're running.
I mean, if you're casting
So-
it right now, we're all in the same spot.
You get it when you cast it, and then at the start of, we'll just say at the start of each of your turns,
I'll just
you
disperse
just
it.
dole it out to wherever you're around.
Okay, that works. Okay, so I'm gonna channel divinity.
Okay. And what does it look like?
What doesn't it look?
It's very so, and this is a weird one because I know that the spell says it's a dim light effect, but I'm in bright light, so like, does the light around me dim?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, the standing shadows that you guys are casting, particularly when you're casting, sort of extends and lengthens, and sort of fans out around you guys, and sort of starts to affect the light around where you're standing.
Okay, so for like 30 feet of me, it's like a weird, dark, tiny hut, slightly shaded. Like,
Of course, it's a tiny hut.
of course, it's a tiny hut.
From you.
Of course, it is. Right, 2 of us can get that spell this time.
Yeah.
I will get that spell. Anyways, so it's like it's kind of like this nice shaded dome that comes out around you. It's like, this is weird, but this is nice. And y'all get 7 temporary hit points.
Very nice. Okay. Anything else that you're gonna do? Slow, you'll be on deck here in a second.
I'm gonna run. Should we run? Because he's a city boy and doesn't know anything about livestock.
I mean, we've
You
been
guys can
running
respond with a
bit,
verbal sort of reaction.
and they're
situation.
catching us, yeah? They're gaining.
They're moving faster than you.
I mean, they're moving faster. They're moving. Cows can move quite fast.
Yeah, you're only really noticing it, like as you're inspecting the body and kind of like hearing the noise and starting to turn.
Alright.
So
Then I will bonus action. Alright, cast spiritual weapon.
Okay, hey,
Right
there
in front of
it is.
Nice.
Check
All right, get it on the
Alright,
board. I think
so
you got the mini too.
I got the mini. I just want to check my range because it's been a while since I've used this spell. I'm gonna kind of put it out here, like in front of us,
Okay.
so like maybe by next turn it can catch them, but it's not quite close.
Defensive
Defensive.
spiritual weapon.
So this one I did think about. So where you said it's like a field of grass.
Yeah. Mostly.
So kind of from some of the grass, these sort of spectral vines start to kind of come up and coalesce into a staff that elongates into a scythe of silver light.
Cool.
So it's a spectral scythe of vines that's just chilling right now in the grass.
All right, I love it.
Okay.
All right, any movement?
Where am I in relation to everybody else? I'm gonna
Right
kind
there.
of stand in front of the tiny one, so that you know.
Okay. Nice. Bravely facing down a herd of charging cows. I like
Yeah,
it. Okay.
this
That's it for your turn?
That's it for my turn. I'm just
Okay. They got next.
oh shit!
Oh, shit!
And immediately you notice that these things are moving, but they're clearly moving in a way that is trying to cut you off from the access of the
Smart cows! Smart cows!
road. So they're kind of intervening a little bit here.
Wicked smart.
Okay.
And they're beginning to. So
She's
we'll
a
see.
beaut.
See how far we go. Okay. So yeah, they're coming down to about this distance, and
So about how far away are they right now?
from
us.
you, it's about 15 feet.
Love that.
What you
So
got?
yeah, they just like dashed down the hill. They were already kind of dashing and moving when they entered this combat, and they crested the hill and came all the way down and are cutting off your guys' access. And you already see from this, like, as they're closer, they have like inverted spiked collars of shadow, like stabbing into their necks, and you see their like drooling spittle of shadow and stuff like that as they're just driven mad and furious. So that's it for their turn, just getting into position. Flo, you're up. On deck is Slate and Anika / Ren to follow.
It's the 16s.
The 16s. 16 team.
I'm gonna use my movement to hide behind this rock
Okay.
and still have view of the animals.
Okay, so that's a fair bit of distance, so you're going to need to dash to get actually behind the rock.
Well, can I use it as my bonus action to
Yeah.
dash?
In your
Okay.
case, you can cunning action dash, bonus action
Yeah.
behind the rock. Yeah.
And then I'm going to cast Create or Destroy Water as a 35-foot cube over top of them to help blur their vision as
Okay.
rain.
So how far away can you cast that?
Where's the book?
Do you have that written down?
It's page 229.
Oh, in Xanathar's?
And
No, that's
Oh, that's
Player's
regular?
Handbook.
Yeah, regular.
players, yeah.
Remember Tanya used it
What was it?
in the fire
What'd you say?
dungeon
229.
a lot? You did.
The salamander.
Create or destroy water.
I actually have that spell in my spell card slots. I can't.
I should have said that as well.
It is a 30-foot range, so you are well out of distance to do it. You could have done it first, and then
Can I do it
move.
first and then
Yeah.
move? Thank
So you're sort of bringing your hands up, and you see some of the moisture in the air, sort of, and you see like pooling some of the moisture around, and a solid curtain of just rain dousing over the animals and stuff like that. You don't notice any immediate effect, but yeah, it's like a localized rain on that space.
They're clean now.
Cleaner, at least. But the mud around the space is mud in the area that they're at is starting to churn up and stuff like that, and squelch. Anything else from you? Move, action, bonus action, so I think that's probably going to be it.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Slate, you're up. Anika, then Ren.
Well, alright. I'm kind of in the backish. My hope would be to, I guess, get into combat with them and then move around to the side as much as I could.
Okay. To which side? This side or this side?
I guess by the roadside.
Okay.
Before he does that, can I unmount him?
Sure.
Okay.
You were safe up there.
I know, but I don't want to
Okay.
be
So
that
you're in
close.
sort of the combat space near them, and on their side. What are you doing?
I'm taking a swing.
Okay, go for it. Attack roll.
Gotta remember.
Using a longsword, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
8. An 8 misses. So you glance off the sort of back hide of one of the cows, but the overall churning mass of movement in this is a little hard for you to be able to land a striking blow on. So no, unfortunately not. Anything else you'd like to do in your turn? Bonus action, anything?
No. Oh well.
Okay. All right, Anika with Ren to follow, and then Cackler picking up the rear.
Turn to look at the cows, and she's wearing fingerless gloves, and she'll start sort of rubbing her hands together, and you start seeing almost sparks of static electricity, and then it suddenly shoots out towards the cows, which bolt.
Ooh,
That is
very
an
cool.
attack roll on
Go for
that
it.
part. I hope this hits with a 25.
That does hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Thanks.
Uh,
They're the lightning. Thanks.
Lightning cows. They're stone cows.
That is
They're rubber cows.
4 lightning damage, and then on each of my subsequent turns, they can
You can just immediately do a D12.
D12 lightning
of
damage.
Yeah.
So
And you see kind of washing over them, and you see some of the cows sort of this sort of viridian lightning dancing between them and kind of getting like a lightning conductivity around them that you're hooking onto.
okay, and then she's gonna run like hell.
Okay.
Probably.
That's a little far for
Little
6.
far?
That's probably close.
You
They're-
can't run that far.
Yeah, that's pretty good for 30. Okay. That's it for you. So, Ren, you're up. Old man getting... old man forest cow being chased by a bunch of cows. What? Anything else? Sorry.
So I have to stay in 30 feet of the cows. So that
Yeah, that's
for
fine.
the spell to keep working.
30
Yeah.
feet of me, too.
Yes.
Okay. Ren.
Well, I don't think he has any interest in facing the cows. So what Ren's gonna do is he's gonna start running towards that tree.
Okay.
And as my action, I have got 60 feet of rope in my hand, but I'm gonna detach it from my belt and kind of dust it off a little bit. I'm gonna whisper to it, "Wakey, wakey," and it will snap to attention.
Okay.
This is some, what is this called? Rope of climbing? What is it? Hold on. Forget what it's called. Yeah, it's called rope of climbing.
Okay.
But I can't do anything with it this turn. But I'm gonna try to get this close to the trees. Wait, am I within 10 feet of it?
Yeah, I can say. I'll say you can get within 10 feet.
Oh, cool. Then, with the rope of climbing, as a bonus action, I can have it extend itself 10 feet in the direction of the tree.
Okay. Cool.
So I'm attempting to have it tie itself onto the tree. Hold on one second. I have to see if that's an additional.
So the rope sort of snaps to attention on its own as you wakey-wakeyed it with your sort of magical enchantments that you've set into it or dyes that you've put into it, chemical bindings, and darts towards the tree there.
So it says, as a bonus action, you can command the other end of the rope to move towards the destination you choose. Moves 10 feet. Command it to, until reaching its destination up to maximum length of the way until you tell it to stop. You can also tell the rope to fasten itself securely to an object or unfasten itself. So is that within the same...
I'll allow it. Go ahead.
Okay. Then I'll have it knot itself to a bough.
Okay, so shoots up, ties to a bough. Got it.
It says if you tell the rope to knot, knots appear at 1 foot intervals along the rope.
Okay, so are you doing that too?
Yeah, I assume that if you tell it to knot, it does that regardless.
Yeah.
Get advantage on climbing it.
Got
I
it.
can't climb it this turn, but...
Got it. Okay. Setting up a climbing apparatus. Got it. Alistair, go.
Alright, I'm gonna cast my flamethrower. So I got my little artificer cannon.
Okay, are you doing it in your arms, or are you doing it
I'm having it in my hands.
Okay,
Got it. I'm envisioning, I'm kind of like just spraying flames at them, trying to like ward them back.
Okay, so you getting close to actually hurt them, or are you getting...
I'm close enough to hurt them right now. It's a 15-foot range.
Okay.
So
15-foot cone. Yeah.
15-foot cone, yeah.
You have to get a little bit closer, but
Sure, yeah, we'll do that. And that ignites everything in front of me that's flammable on fire, so like all the grass will light on fire.
Yeah.
And they have to make a dex save.
Okay. So,
Dex
Cows.
Douse.
that's going to be a fail probably with a 6.
Correct, that is a
Wrong
fail.
6.
Love that.
You're cooking them.
I am preparing our dinner.
Hope you guys like steak.
If you don't, then you're not in my party
I
anymore.
mean, it's haunted steak.
Oh, that's
Might not-
6 fire damage.
6 points of fire damage. Okay. So, and you see some of the like the burned smell of like bovine hair and skin just wafts over the space, and some of the space around you gets sort of caught in the flames. But they're looking pretty intensely at you guys.
I'm gonna kind of back away from my movement, so I have like 30 feet back towards Renostus, I guess.
Okay.
And I'm just igniting everything along the way.
Okay. Got it. Okay. I'll set some red tokens down.
Don't worry, Tennille, we got it.
Yeah, so I know where not to stand.
Yeah. So spraying the flame. All right. That's it for that. So Tennille, you're up,
All right.
and Flo will be the next to act after the cows.
So this will kind of happen simultaneously, but my,
Yep.
my vines will drop back into the ground, and then it's going to pop up right next to it.
Okay. Go for it.
And then, so that's going to be an attack roll.
Or if you wanted to move first, it's fine. Too.
That's fine. I'll just roll it. So 9, 14.
14 hits. Go roll damage.
Sweet! So that's an 8 radiant damage.
8 total.
Yes, 8 total.
Nice. So
I rolled a 6. Oh, no, lie.
I think
Sorry,
it's
that's...
force damage, right?
It's
Radiant.
so it's actually 9, because it's a plus your wisdom modifier. And my wisdom modifier is 3. It is force damage, you are correct.
Okay. Force damage and total was what?
9.
9. Okay.
So as that happens, and then I'm going to kind of dodge the flames, and then hit the mud and yell, "Why did you have to make it mud, Flo?"
Yeah, Flo.
And oh god, do I want to use a spell or do I want to cantrip it?
Blow up.
You know what? We're just gonna go for it, and we're gonna inflict wounds.
Okay. Attack roll. Go for it.
Okay, that's a 13 plus 5, so 18.
That hits. Roll
All right,
damage.
I need another D10.
Gosh.
I've got them. I just gotta pull it out.
Boom.
Okay.
I beat you to it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You got a metal one.
Oh, that's heavy. Okay, I have never used this before. This is exciting. Where's my other one? There it is.
There it is.
Oh, so that is 13 plus 5, 18 necrotic damage.
How'd mine do?
18.
You rolled a
You
7.
might
Okay,
not want to
nice.
eat the steaks.
So as you like reach in and touch one of the nearest cows, your like the shadow energy just threads through it, and you see like its skin starting to wither and become sort of like you see spectral vines like claiming it over like an accelerated period of decay, and then get sort of stampeded by its brethren. Also, since you did a certain amount of damage from a single attack, the whole herd begins to turn from the as you sort of hit the side of it, and it's starting to turn. Sorry, Slate, you're on the other side of it though. So it's going to move through onto your space.
Tough.
Oh, I forgot to roll the 10 hit points.
Okay.
Late.
So that would be... Actually, you all... anyone who's still within 30 feet of me can choose to upgrade to 8 temporary hit points.
All right.
But you-
doing that.
Flo cannot, Renostus cannot, Cackler cannot, but the rest can. All right. So yeah, it's gone over that, and you need to go ahead and make a Dex saving throw there, Slate.
I believe in you.
I don't.
You're a dexterous man.
I am more other things.
Just attack.
19?
Tackle the
19?
cow.
Okay, so you take 3 points of bludgeoning damage from their hooves as they are stomping around. Right. Now it's their turn, and they're going to wheel and basically just charge right at the cackler. They did not like all that flame in their face. They are going to be moving
Come at me, homie.
through the all the flame that you've set up, so I'm going to actually have them take some fire damage.
Aha! Thought process.
I'm gonna take a swing if they're out of my spot.
Yep, you can. Go ahead.
Kill them all, please.
Did they move out of my range
Chop
too?
them. You...
Yes, they did when you...
Okay.
Yes.
They did on your turn, though.
Oh,
so
so that
you don't
they'll
have to...
okay.
They take 3 fire damage from the flames.
Hooray.
Hey, fire damage is fire damage.
Attack roll.
23.
Hits. Roll damage.
That's a total of 10 damage.
10. Okay.
That's the most. Not the most I can do. But
So, you notice that your attack doesn't seem... Your slashing damage doesn't seem to be really telling against a herd of animals. So it's a little bit harder to land a full blow.
So
So
like a cow out? A singular cow?
They're enhanced cows, so not quite.
one's limping now.
But one is a little bit slower and stuff like that. So they're charging right at you. They're
They would.
and they're going to be doing their gore attack. 20 total to hit.
Nope. I'm about to get gang. No.
I'm pretty sure that it does hit.
That's
Never
pretty
mind.
tanky.
Easy AC 21.
Okay.
Plus 5, right?
And they did.
Plus 5.
And I did. So it does hit you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And they did move at least 20 feet in a straight line toward you, so they get an extra 2d6.
Good for them.
Yeah, it is pretty good for them. Not so good for you though.
What do you want to hear from the DM?
That's gonna be 19 piercing damage.
Huzzah, I'm still awake.
So.
Have 10 hit points. Make sure you take
Not anymore, I don't.
And they are going to end their turn actually occupying your space.
Nice. Currently, literally just running into flames. I hope they know that.
They ran through it. They took the fire damage
I'm
for it.
actively spewing flames.
And Renostis, you've got an angry herd just like right in front of your face. Okay, Flo, you're up with Slate on deck, Anika to follow, and Renostis after that.
I'm gonna hide behind my handy dandy rock.
Okay,
as
go
my
ahead and
bonus
make.
action.
Yeah, go ahead and make a bonus go stealth check.
Okay. 24.
Oh yeah, you are not the focus.
And then I'm gonna
Thank you.
pop back out and shoot him with my pistol.
Okay. Attack roll with advantage because you're attacking from surprise.
I think this spell's very useful for this situation.
Does it instantly kill?
Oh,
Power.
dang.
Power
8?
word
8
cow.
total.
Yeah.
Power workout.
Ouch.
Oh, wait. 9.
9 points of piercing damage.
No, that's my attack roll.
Singular cow.
9 to hit
Yeah.
With advantage?
with advantage.
Yeah.
With your bonuses?
I rolled a 2 and a 6.
Rough.
Okay.
Okay. Unfortunately, no, that does
You
not
weren't
hit.
the
So,
Dang.
and you just see
Dang.
in the fence line some splinters and spots
Dang.
splatter open.
Big damage.
Ouch.
So
Right.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna stay behind my handy dandy rock.
Okay. Big noise, but no strike. Anything else? You're just staying there.
All bark,
I mean, I
no
used my
bite.
bonus action, so I'm still there.
Okay. That's it for you. So Slate, then Anika, and then Ran.
So, what's the situation with the cackler? He's like inside that mess?
You can't even see him amidst all of the large creatures that are stumbling and stampeding over him.
Okay, well, I mean, if I can't see him, that's that. So I'll avoid the flames and flank behind him, I guess, and just take a swing.
Okay. So avoiding the flames. Go ahead and attack roll.
Dang, that's a nut. I rolled a 2 again.
So
I miss.
another miss. Yeah. Unfortunately, you're not adjusting to fighting a stampeding herd, so not quite the effect. All right, that's it for your turn then. So next up is Anika with Ren to
Okay.
follow.
Since they moved out of the 30-foot range, they're no longer affected by Witch Bolt, so she'll sort of pull out her sock project with her double-pointed needles, point towards them. They fly over to them. Magic missile.
Okay.
Oh my god. So many needles.
How many needles?
Not hurting them.
7. 10 points of force damage.
There are 3 separate sources, so it's not going to be enough to actually trigger their sort of
Yeah.
turning and moving effect. But yes, these do seem to take effect, and you actually see a couple. You see one of the cows go down, and you notice the herd has been thinned out over this time. Like some of them have, between the flames and the striking of the other damage and stuff like that, they've thinned out a bit. So it's seeing a little bit of a reduction.
Nice.
Okay, that's it for your turn.
Mhm.
Okay, so Ren, what are you doing?
I would like to climb the rope.
Okay,
Thanks.
so 10 feet up, you have enough movement to be able to make that climb.
Okay.
Go ahead and make so you have enough movement to do it. So now you got to make a acrobatics check. You get advantage because of your rope of climbing.
Come on, old
I
man.
need it.
Acrobatics or athletics, whichever's better for you.
Okay, they're both terrible. But 14.
14 is enough to climb the rope and get to the strong bow that you have. You know, it's a little stiff in the back, you know, as you're moving, but you get there.
Okay.
So that's your
Maybe
movement.
all I got. Movement and action, or action and more?
Yeah, if you have a bonus action, you can do that, but yeah, otherwise.
That's all I got.
Okay, so you're in the tree now. Right, that's it for your turn, so Cackler, you're amidst the herd.
I sure am. What word would I like to
I'll make a
associate?
beckoning motion.
A beckoning
Cackler.
motion. No. I'm just gonna yell, Anger the bees and cast Thunderwave.
Okay.
What's a con for you?
Yeah. What's the DC?
Which
12.
Which direction?
Thunderwave is 15 feet around.
Around him.
Oh, okay.
Wait, 15 feet.
Yeah.
You're gonna be hitting some of us.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, that does get Slate. So Slate make a save, and Anika make a save. Anika make a save.
What's the save?
Yeah. Con.
What's the DC?
12.
12. Okay. That's gonna be a 13 for the herd.
Damn it.
So half damage for them.
14 for me.
Okay, half damage.
19.
Half damage. So just
Nope.
half.
Awkward. 13, so half would be 6.
So 6 thunder damage.
Ow!
And then
Eats through your 10 pin points.
Yeah.
and then my bonus action, I still have my flamethrower. And I can cast that as a bonus action. So dex save for them. Yep.
Doing it
Pretty
all over the
much.
place. That's gonna be an 11.
Oh, that's a fail.
Okay, go and roll. Boy, this one can put up a lot of damage.
5.
5 more points of damage? Okay. So, between the burst and that, you bring down another cow and
Yes.
flaming it a little bit. Any movement or anything?
I'm gonna make it get to that tree if I can.
Okay, so they're gonna get attack of opportunity against you.
Oh.
Cow opportunity.
No!
Yeah, that's gonna hurt, so 16.
Oh, yeah, I'm down.
Okay.
Oh.
That's the hit.
Oh, yeah, that hits.
Okay.
I was gonna say, that's an intense attack of opportunity at the moment.
I mean, it will be, but yeah. It's, wow, yeah, 14 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yeah, I'm down.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So, down in the middle of the herd as they
First down the...
stomp as you're trying to
Would you
escape.
say I got out of the midst of the herd, though?
Sure, I'll allow that. You stumble and you're like,
They step on my toes.
so that's it for your turn. Top of the round. Tennille, you're up. Flo after the herd.
Alright, if I turn and can I see the cackler's body, or what is he just obscured by all of that?
I would say he's obscured by the mass of
Cool.
bovine force.
that
Bovine force.
would be my guess. And I don't know how far 20 feet is, but I know I can't get this there.
Just behind Slate, I'd say.
Okay, so it's gonna pop up behind Slade.
Surprise!
Just, because
Betrayal. Assassination.
and then I'm gonna toll the dead on the herd.
Okay. So what kind of save is that?
It's a wisdom.
That's a natural 3, so that's going to be a fail.
Okay. And since does it count as one entity being hurt before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Nate.
So it's 5.
You finally rolled below a 10.
I know. I'm sorry.
So, and another cow sort of.
Whoa.
Oh, and then. Oh, nice! Anyone who isn't within 30 feet of me gets 9 temporary hit points.
That works.
And Anika and Slate. They don't bring you up. Temporary hit points don't bring you back up, but you're not within range anyway.
But do I have them? You're not in range. Am I within 30 feet?
No.
Oh, she's way over there. I was
Yeah,
looking
I
at-
didn't
I was looking
move.
at Anika.
I didn't move.
He is here, actually. But yes, no, you're not within range.
I mean,
so.
he is very pretty.
I thought it was
But-
Anika.
Okay.
No, it's
No.
me.
All right, so that's it for your turn.
I know it's you. I was confused.
All right, herd's turn. They're going to turn
Hooray.
and move over to occupy both of your guys' space.
I don't like that.
You are amidst the cows.
Oh, hey, the spiritual weapon is in the midst of them now, too.
Yeah.
Ah!
Nice.
Just impaling them.
So they're going to go ahead and do a who's attack against the two of you. All right. That is going to be a 15 to hit Anika and a 10 to hit Slate.
Anetka's gonna make a motion. A blanket will appear in front of her. Shield.
Nice!
Nice. 10 to hit Slate.
Slate will slap the cow down.
So you're sort of trying to raise and you're sort of beating them back with your shield and your motion and stuff. They're hard, being as large as you are, it's a little harder for them to find purchase over your body. So no success there, although they are occupying the same space as you. That's it for their turn. Flo, you're up with the 16's array afterwards. Slate leading that.
Let's try this one more time.
Okay.
I'm a
Stealth check.
Yep.
Got it. Go for it.
Okay, 23.
That's you're very stealthy.
And then I'm gonna pop back out and shoot with my pistol.
Go for it. Attack roll with advantage.
Come on. Oh my gosh.
I think you need a dice jail. That's another 2.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
You gotta roll those more. You can't just do a little bit. You
This-
gotta go for it.
Yeah, this time you pop out and you sort of and you realize you shot the rock right in front of you.
God.
You have also never seen cows.
Yeah.
Used to sea creatures, yo,
Couldn't-
not cows.
Couldn't hit the broadside
I'm
of the barn.
terrified of land
I
animals.
should see cows.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, no success there. Do mark your ammunition, but
Damn.
Is there like a
Dang it.
Sanctus version
I
of
think
Stellar
she and I
Sea
haven't
Cow?
hit, like,
at all. Nope,
I
this whole
haven't hit
fight.
all.
So, Slate, your turn.
You have
Oh
one.
my
It's half damage.
gosh.
Yeah, you did
I mean,
hit
I guess
for
I
that.
had a
Go for it,
an
Slate.
opportunity attack.
This is your
Alright.
chance. Anika has to follow Ren after that.
I mean, I'll do a tight spin, try and cut as many cows as I can.
Attack roll.
Would you believe if I rolled the 2 again?
Very blue dice.
Yes.
Roll one.
Honestly, tonight, yes.
You're amidst a
Okay.
very big stampeding
Not on
herd,
that one.
so unfortunately no success.
Maybe I shouldn't be.
I've rolled 3 2s in
Maybe
a
I don't
row.
want to curse you
That's
guys.
pretty impressive, but at least they're not death saves.
I bet
So,
you couldn't do it
Um,
again if you tried.
so that's it for your turn, or are you going to move?
Now I get good rolls.
I'll hang.
It's fine.
Okay,
I got-
end of your turn, you take bludgeoning damage
19
for being in the
and
herd. 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
Jeez, okay.
Well,
It finally
hey,
did damage to me.
that was
I did.
9 temporary hit points.
Yeah, so mostly erased by the temporary HP. Alright, Anika, you're up with Ren to follow.
Okay, seeing the cows in front of her. Well,
They're in your space.
well, yeah.
but
you
yeah,
know.
all
In
over.
front of you,
Cows
behind you,
around.
to the side of you.
Yes.
Cows.
Cows abound.
Well, I guess you've already been cooked. It's a little backwards, but let's try to marinate you. And she'll pull the bubble of acid and acid splash them. They need to make a dexterity saving throw.
It's gonna be a fail. with a
Nicholas, did I
feat.
hear that?
Yes. Oh no, you're unconscious.
I know, but
No, sorry.
Okay, that's
That's rough. That's the real loss here.
time to
well,
marinate
6
you.
acid damage.
6 points of acid damage.
I can use that in so many things.
And then can I sort of am I too surrounded by cows to see the cackler?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, I was
You'd
just
have
gonna
to move out of their space to get it.
yeah, I was just gonna shout that he was down, but if she can't see it,
Okay. Are you gonna move?
you know what? Yeah, I'll scooch back towards the cackler.
Okay, so they're gonna get an attack of opportunity against you.
Opportunity.
That's gonna be a 12.
Nope.
Does not hit.
She
Okay.
got that mage
Mage armor.
armor.
Doesn't quite land. Very nice.
Good old marmor.
Murmur.
All right, Ren, you're up with Calculator Follow.
Sorry.
You see him down on the floor there,
Yeah.
and you also see that the herd seems to be thinning.
So I am going to take out a bottle of liquid,
Okay.
shake it up,
Oh
like
god.
you shake up a soda bottle, and then I'm going to stick it at the end of my staff and then point it in the direction of the cackler. And
Oh god.
the top's
so
going to pop
afraid.
off and start spraying the fluid all over him. And
Leave me be.
Healing word.
I love it. It's like a green fizzy spray.
My white robes.
All right, D4.
feel
Plus your
the heal?
casting modifier, in this case, intelligence.
Leave me down.
You have like sticky feathers too.
That will be 6 HP back to you.
6
I do a lot of
HP.
soap.
That's good fizz, you know.
Nice.
It gets.
That's the good right there.
Oh, there are multiple people with healing word in the party. That makes me so happy.
Yeah, his feathers look a little greener, but otherwise he is back to consciousness with your action and movement still remaining though, Ren. So what do you want to do with that?
That was my action.
No, bonus
That's bonus
action.
action. Bonus action to healing word.
Then I can control the other end of the rope, and I'll have it move like 10 feet closer to the cackler, and
Okay. You come to consciousness with green fizz all over you and a rope smacking your beak. It is your turn. What would you like to do?
It's another Tuesday.
I suppose I'll grab the. Is it like up? Does it lead up to the tree?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll climb the tree. I'll climb the rope up to the tree.
Okay, go ahead and make an acrobatics or athletics check with advantage, whichever is better for you.
Nice. Yeah, I'm up that tree.
Taneela, you're up next.
patting next
21.
to a spot next to on the bow.
Okay, yeah, you climb the tree as well, finding a branch right next to Renostus.
I shall perch.
Yeah, so I would say that's your move and your action.
Oh.
Bonus
I
action.
still have my flamethrower going, so I'll still be spewing flames down upon the world below me.
Okay, just the grass around you, just incinerating the grass around.
I'm making
the
like
tree.
a ring so they can't like run at the tree.
Okay.
A burning circle in a tree. I'm
Got
sure
it.
That'll hit well.
That's it for
Trees are
your turn.
flammable.
That's a good
So, Sunil, you're up. Slow
Cool.
to follow after the herd.
So my spiritual weapon is like in the midst of the herd right now, right?
Indeed.
All right, so it's going to take a swing.
Go for it. Attack roll.
That's a 10.
10 hits. Roll damage.
Oh, okay, cool.
The herd of
There you
cows.
go.
I can't believe that there's been so many misses, but their
I
AC
rolled
is 10.
8 on a d8, so 11 points of force damage.
11 points of force damage. All right. Whoosh. Since it's in the middle of it, I'll let you pick the direction of which way they go.
Oh.
How much health do you see?
Oh, that's going to make them change direction again?
Mhm.
All right,
It's
okay.
gonna make them move
You
after
send
turn.
them at the tree.
Well, I don't
Please
want
do.
them running into...
Please do.
Is it...
No, don't. This is funny, though.
Have them come this way.
Okay, so they move 10 feet that way.
Okay.
So it's actually going to provoke some attacks of opportunity here.
Nice.
So it's here. So Slate gets an attack of opportunity there.
I can't hit normal attacks, but I've hit the last one.
I'm going to use my movement to move closer this way a bit.
Please.
I'll wait till he's done.
Dude.
What'd you get?
Nat 1.
Okay.
Wait, that's not a nat 1.
Is that a...
That's a 4.
I saw 1.
It's just impossible to read.
Okay.
Well, in which case, that's a 10.
Which does hit. We got there. We got there. We needed to bring in a consultant to read the dice, but we did get to a hit. So go ahead and roll damage. And
Okay.
Tennille, go ahead and what are you doing?
I'm going to toll the dead again.
Okay, go ahead and
That's,
wisdom saving throw,
that's a
right?
wisdom save for you.
They fail with a natural 9.
They're not wise
6.
gals.
6 points of damage. So that's again halved. So, but they're looking very rough. There's only a few
9
left.
points of necrotic damage.
9 points of necrotic damage. That is enough.
Yeah!
So, with the
Wow.
final bell toll, you just see as they're sort of like confusedly kind of looking around, and then the spiked collars and stuff sort of tear into their skin a little more. They kind of raise up, pawing and at the ground, and then you just sort of see shadows and like a white sort of spreading shadow or grayish spreading shadow from the ring of your bell, and kind of reeling around them. They sort of paw to the ground, and then like spectral vines and roots kind of bring them back down, and down they go.
Nice.
That is
What?
the end of the combat.
I imagine since I gave the bell back to the cackler, I'm just hitting like the butt of my rapier on the shield to kind of make like the gong noise.
The ringing noise.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the end of combat. What's everyone doing?
Loot the cows.
I'm gonna go push the lore bright stone. I want to touch the lore bright stone to the cows. I'm gonna
Okay.
remember it this time.
Nice.
Good job. So again, particularly around the spaces of the sort of coming from the collars and stuff like that, and the spooling, like almost tar-like substance of shadow that is around them, you see some flickering light, a little bit more than the other stuff that you've kind of touched to as well.
You guys are gonna see Flo holding something in her hands and be like, "What the heck, dude?" And then like quickly put it away.
Do we hear her gun go off?
Yeah, you hear a noise. It's not quite as loud as a normal gun,
Okay.
but it is still a sort of loud kind of noise. About as loud as like slamming several books on a table hard.
Okay.
I must not.
Please do not.
That would break this table.
Back to the road.
I mean, yeah.
Should we like? Does anyone need to rest?
I mean, not going to be very useful in the next fight. But if we wanted to rope trick again, that would take away the same amount of stuff I'd regain.
maybe if we hang out up here for a bit, I'll point to the hill. We'll have a better view, and we can just take a breather, and then be on our way. I imagine by this point noticed that Chirps is covered in green goo and looking kind of rough.
I'm licking it off myself.
Yeah, I mean, you do notice that he is that way, but you all also notice that, you know, he's back to consciousness and moving around, still his quirky bird self, so
Yeah. I'm wondering.
you guys are settling up to the top of the hill?
I was gonna put it to the party.
I'm gonna walk up to the cows and I'll look over and like I'll like point at the Lord Brightstone and point at that.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna torch the bodies.
Okay, yeah. Just the smell of
Beef.
beef. Burning cow hair and beef.
Return in 6 to 8 hours for the slow roast.
Yeah.
I mean, do we? If we're good to go, we can keep on going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just worried, since we're in more of the pasture area, that we'd potentially we'd have less trouble on the road. I could.
Maybe if we come across a structure that we can secure against rampaging bovines. Is it normally like this?
No! Yes, we live in a town where everything stampedes all the time.
And while he's like complaining at Anika, I'm going to
You've never seen a cow before?
Do you see many cows in the salt poles?
Well, I mean, you could have left them.
Anyway, I'm
Your
using...
rich uncle never took you on country field trips?
Do you think that he looks like the kind of person that would take me on country field trips?
I don't know. I didn't know you had a rich uncle in the first place.
Well, I didn't know I had a rich uncle either, and I'm just using prestidigitation to clean the mud off of my feet, and then and really blue mud. Really, why mud?
I mean,
I'm just stomping off towards the road now.
Mud is the least bad thing you can find in a cow pasture.
Step in a cow pat.
Yeah. I was like, watch your step.
Yeah, there's shit everywhere.
If you didn't say it, I would have. So. And it is getting fragrant as you've burned some of those spaces as well.
Anyone else weirdly hungry? Just me?
The scent of burning cow pats makes you hungry?
Well, I mean about like the burning cows.
Yeah.
Is there any meat that's salvageable that I just cooked?
Fully carbonized.
Shadows and also necrotic damage happened to them.
Go ahead and make a medicine check.
That wasn't my question, but okay. Medicine.
Are you attempting to
12.
Are you attempting to salvage some?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You get one ration's worth of cooked meat. You have to eat it in the next little bit.
I'll eat it like after walking back to the road. I'll put my flamethrower on my back and just be like munching on my steak.
Okay.
So we'll see this and try.
Okay, go ahead and make a medicine check. DC just got higher because there's not much left. You need to...
That's fine. I'm not going to pass it anyway.
They're demon
Medicine.
cows.
Nope, sure aren't.
Yeah, that's a 4.
Boy, you are not rolling well, bud.
I'll
Sorry.
pull a piece of my steak and hand it to you.
I'll eat what I cut.
Okay. You get a tiny, tiny sliver of meat.
A talon's worth.
Yeah.
Like a couple
So,
times.
but...
I believe.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Use
There
it.
it
I
is.
believe
Oh, I gotta work this out.
Well, everyone coaches their dice to roll a little better. We're moving on towards back on the road and moving forward. As you guys are moving along, you do see what looks like a small farmhouse attached to what this ranch, and you see a couple others in the distance as this sort of series of hills flattens out for a little bit. Into larger pastures. So you are seeing a few of those off in the distance, but no particular events over the next little bit of travel. Is there anything anyone wanted to do?
Yeah, let's just get to town.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, so you guys are seeing on the horizon, rather than far spaced buildings across ranches and farms.
Spiced.
Yeah, thank you. Finely spiced buildings over the farms. It's like a gingerbread house, I guess. Off in the horizon, you see a much larger cluster of buildings. And while it's not the thriving metropolis that is Solney, it certainly seems like it's much larger than what you might immediately expect from just a few disparate farm towns and things like that. More than a village, that's for sure. And you guys are heading up to that space. And as you immediately notice that something is clearly wrong as you're rolling up to that space and getting into that main streetway area. A good portion of the buildings are damaged or ruined. There are upturned furrows of gravel and earth. The road looks like it's seen a couple stampedes go through the main parts of the town. There are stampeded corpses, lots of animal waste, and pats of different kinds all over the place. Manure, broken buildings, numerous dead animals filled with arrows or various kinds of weapon wounds kind of spread throughout. But most notably, you see a series of sort of makeshift barricades of barrels and crates of you see one of those upturned like ice chests and other items and stuff all set up on against the eastern side of the town, on like the far side from where you guys are approaching. You also notice that the town is a rather basic one, but has a good spread of different things. No notice of people moving back and forth at all. No commotion of any kind. But you do see several shops, sort of on this sort of northern end. You're seeing sort of blacksmith and leather worker, some other shops there. You see a sort of trading post called Delphos Deliveries sign. Couple other stores here or there. Halivax Holdings, different stuff there. What stands out to you is a small shop called Shelta Spooled. But you also notice the Hanging Hoof, which is sort of more towards the southern side of town as you guys are moving in. Large sort of inn, sort of looks like it was maybe originally like a converted stables that's been grown up to a larger inn building. And you see some light streaming through some of the windows and boarded up spaces there. You also notice that there are some there are, as per normal, there are a few other spaces that you might find in a normal town like this. There's the law house, sort of more in the style of Roman columns and some of the Solnian architecture viewable there. Sort of in one of the center sections of town, and right next to that is the Shrine to Seoul, a building done up with sort of as a small prayer hall with the sign of the sun, the rising sun, sign of Seoul, up above its marbled doorway. And you also notice, some of my notes are in a little bit out of order. You also notice that there is a shrine to the Rain Mother, but it's seen on sort of more close to the eastern side of town, and it is in total ruins, total disarray. You notice that those of you with Solnian heritage or lived your life in Sanctus for a good portion of the time, these are a big deal. This is where the Cloud Carver Conclave and the Rain Pact kind of is coordinated through these shrines. So it being gone they're usually pretty well defended. It looks in ruins and overrun. It's sort of a viney carved building of nature meets architecture in a confluence of cooperation rather than like nature reclaiming it. Small building overall, but and its garden outside is also completely stampeded and stomped over. You also see what looks like several other empty buildings, but what is most noticeable is just past the Shrine to Seoul. You do see some movement in the shrine itself, but just past the Shrine of Seoul, it looks like there is several makeshift pens around the shrines, and you see humanoid people milling about in the pens, a couple stooping and biting at the grass, and they're sort of restlessly herding amidst themselves, and you see one of the nearest individuals sort of turn to you and
living simpler lives now.
Okay.
and as that one starts, you're sort of
Do I think I could get close enough to touch the stone to one of them?
they're behind pens and stuff like that, so you could like reach over and attempt to do so.
I'll drop it.
I'm gonna wait on that. I would like to. I mean, I'm sure Anika was looking for her family. But I want to break off and go look at the shrine to the Rain Mother.
Okay, well, as this commotion has started, a bald, green-skinned tiefling woman steps out of the shrine space. This is not, this is someone you recognize. As I said, green-skinned, bald, quite a little bit older, and wearing raiment of the clergy of Seoul. You know her, at least by sight. She's one of the town's 3 elders, 3 town leaders. This is Kolpenta Risovin. She is the holder of faith.
How do you spell her last name?
Rissovin.
Thank you.
And she says, settle down now. Is there another thing coming? Oh! Newcomers. What new... is this Anika?
Yes.
My goodness. Well, come in. You best get in before you cause too much commotion. They get restless and braying the more new things come around. And again, you're hearing like a from a few here and there. Getting all the different animal noises from the individuals in the pens around the space. Oh, hush. It's okay. Come. Let us talk inside, okay? She leads you inside. Did you want to still break off and go to the shrine of the Grandmother?
Yes, actually, I do. I still want to do that.
Yeah, so you go off and do that.
I'll do the same.
Okay.
So Kolpenta leads you inside. And it's a pretty basic building. There's sort of a marble walkway to the shrine of Seoul itself, which is this sort of crystal stylized sun mosaic. But then it's sort of basic wooden architecture built around that. And a lot of the people here are lying on their back, looking sickened or hurt. Several people are kind of over them and muttering prayers or spells, or trying to bandage them up. And you see a lot of more individuals making kind of like half human, half animal sounds blurring back and forth as they're sort of becoming more animalistic in their speech. And you see a few other... one other person who sort of stands out to you, in a different raiment to Kolpenta, but still in priestly robes, is a individual of sort of red skin, sort of coal and embery colored hair, fire genasi individual. Not someone from the local area. There aren't any genasi of the fire persuasion that you know of in there. But she is in a different kind of robe, and the symbol on her back is showing as sort of 13 pillars all roped together in like chains of light. So that's what you're getting there. So she's sort of hunched over one of the victims and is muttering a prayer and kind of slumping back when there's no particular success. Kolpenta says, well, I wish there was a better tidings to be had, but things have gone from bad to worse in the last few turnings. There has been many attacks from the east. These creatures have been going mad, and with each attack, more and more succumb. A few had already, but we don't know what this is. We don't know why these people they're believing they are farm animals. They're pawing around on the ground. They're munching the grass and dirt. They are bestial in every sense of the word, broken in mind, and we've not been able to revive them. Others have simply been hurt in the attacks. Those are being sequestered off and taken care of in the inn. But what news do you bring? Are you here to help? Are the reinforcements coming?
I don't know how much 3 towns were hit. We saw some of the Mirror Guard leaving with injured, but I don't know how. We didn't see a lot of reinforcements coming, but there have also been bandits on the road, and the whole time, like, she's talking, but her eyes are just scanning everything.
Make a perception check. Well, that is sore news, but if you want to get a better understanding of the status here, I suppose you can talk to the captain, Ulcidides, I believe his name was. He's coordinating the moving of the wounded from the Hanging Hoof. And Hugart Dan, who you know is one of the other town leaders, holder of laws, he's still in the law house, also trying to coordinate a few other movements and arrangements, but obviously this is a little bit beyond what we might have prepared for. What was your roll?
6.
You don't notice any immediate... Most of the individuals and the patients are outside, but you do notice the fire genasi sort of hovering, but not quite joining the conversation. While you're doing that, what are you guys doing in the shrine?
I wanted to approach the shrine, and let me double check the amount of time that. Okay, that's up for 10 minutes. I wanted to cast Detect Good and Evil when I get there and kind of investigate around and see what happened.
Okay. So you're casting that. You're noticing already. What did you want to do in there?
I really just wanted to see the shrine, in all honesty.
Okay. Yeah, so you're noticing some corpses in and around this area. This is one of the easternmost buildings, so it's kind of just on the outside of the barricade. It's like the barricade's been built kind of as part of it now, and the eastern wall has just sort of collapsed in and been damaged. You see a knight in sort of rainbow-colored armor who has been fallen. The breastplate's been just caved in completely by what look like not only hoof marks on some parts of the lower legs and stuff, but bull horns look like they've pierced the plate itself. Their also rainbowy colored sword has just been smashed and shattered, and they seem to have been like standing / protecting as a human, standing / protecting a fallen wood elf who also seems to show signs of severe trauma via stampede / what looks like big axe cuts into her torso. So that's what you're immediately noticing. The interior is kind of like a interior garden conservatory kind of space with sort of what was once a clear and crystal small pool at its center with a small natural sort of rock water feature situation, but is unfortunately now quite muddied from all the upturned earth and feces and stuff like that that's been mixed in. So clearly a space that's no longer as special as it maybe once was, as pristine as it once was. To detect good and evil, you're not really detecting anything specific, whether it's like been consecrated or desecrated or anything like that. Once upon a time it was consecrated and now it is no longer, but it doesn't seem to be like specifically desecrated.
So it was just basically trashed.
It was basically just trashed, yeah.
Okay.
You're not noticing anything of the various types, like aberration and
Okay.
stuff like that you would detect from the spell.
Okay. Well, that's mostly what I wanted to do. And then on the way out, heading back towards the shrine, passing the people, because I think the spell lasts for 10 minutes. Do I get anything from them like I did with Vanessa's body?
Yeah, they're more
Okay.
equivalently like desecrated in some way.
Okay.
Like some kind of supernatural forces basically occupied their spirit, or is influencing their spirit.
So there are these two individuals. Can I look over the individuals, see if there's anything that is intact that maybe would like tell me a little bit more about them, or just I'm looting the body but in a courteous way?
Okay, go ahead and make an investigation.
Is there any straw or hay nearby?
You're in the Shrine of Seoul?
I haven't really gone anywhere. I'm just like still kind of standing there in the village, kind of just looking around.
Yeah, so there's hay in the pens, and many of the people are attempting to munch at it with their human and humanoid teeth.
Do it, blood in.
And stuff like that. But otherwise, yeah, so that's what you're seeing.
Okay, so it's already in there.
19.
19. It looks like the coin purse has been taken. Possibly, repurposed money or something like that. You don't really see too much else, but you do notice some symbol of the Rain Mother on the neck, around the neck of a necklace, around the Wood Elf's neck, and otherwise nothing really of major
I'll
importance.
take the necklace. I'll wear it.
Okay, so symbol of the Rain Mother. Okay.
Good lady.
Back in the Shrine to Seoul, Kolpenta says, and Anika, you've grown. Care to introduce me? I am Kolpenta Risovin, the Keeper of Faith here and Priestess of Seoul. And who are all these individuals you come with?
Yes.
So Slate would be in there. Neil is maybe rejoining right around now.
I'm heading back.
Cackler a little bit behind. Ren is already there as well, I'm assuming. So, and then Flo's still outside.
Got Renasta Slate, Tennille, Chirps.
I'm outside, I'm not there yet.
You're pulling up.
I'm
At this time.
Yeah, and blue one somewhere. Her name is Flo, and I think they call him the Cackler. I've only really heard Chirps.
The fire genasi sort of like, yeah, I saw her out there.
No.
Munching on her hay.
And Copenta sort of gestures and says, yes, and we are joined by an assistant and visitor with the scouting military party, a 13er, a priestess, as it were. This is Elopia Berada. Yes, I am pleased to meet all of you. Quite surprised at what has happened. The darkness of the South is what they're willing to do down there is quite unbelievable. But I suppose I should not be so surprised. They're trying to control their own people. Why not us as well? And so Copenta's like, yes, well, we're doing all we can to help resolve what has happened to these individuals, but so far we have been unable to do so with either of our prayers and magics.
And her eyes are still darting around. She's paying attention, but kind of. That is quite terrible. And you're sure these are just attacks from the south, not just a random weird thing from the night wall?
Well, I am certain of it, although I'm sure others. And she kind of gives a glare to Copenta. This is Elopia speaking. I am certain of it, but I'm sure that our investigations from the Solnian government and the Glimmer Council will bear fruit, confirming this being the case. In any case, I should get back. And she's kind of heading out to the braying individuals and attempting a new prayer. She kind of stops and gives you a glare.
Ooh.
I'll be like,
And she sort of and you see little tufts of smoke and ash come out of her nose as she does that, and then just turns her back on you and begins to mutter a prayer.
when she turns around, I'm gonna be like, and stick my tongue out at her.
While you guys are inside the shrine, she kind of notices you're looking around. She says, they're not here, darling. They're over at the Hanging Hoof. I believe they... I think Bria might have suffered suffered some harm in the attack. Physical harm, not so much of all this, but you might want to pay them a visit.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Captain Alcides will want to speak with you as well. And I know Hugart Dan has been asking about any other individuals who can perhaps perform a task for him. Him and Captain Alcides are planning on taking direct action to cover the majority of our caravan's retreat with the wounded.
Okay, thank you. And she immediately starts walking out the door.
Can I sneak some straw and just stuff it in my pocket?
Make a sleight of hand check.
Swear to God, if you go for pizza.
Now what? I grab the straw and it just falls.
She's trying to put in your pocket.
You reach out into the straw, and one of the people in the pen there just sort of and attempts to bite at you.
Yes.
But you pull your hand back in time.
Thing.
But sort of
Yeah.
Can I still get some straw?
Are you asking now?
I want to get some straw.
Okay, you're now just doing it overtly.
Yeah.
Okay, you just grab some.
And shove it in my pocket.
Okay, some straw in the pocket. Got it.
Thank you.
Scared.
How much does some straw weigh?
A small amount.
Yeah.
Negligent, unless it's an insignificant thing.
Until you start getting more.
Yeah.
Once she collects more straw.
What's everyone else doing?
Wake up with a bale of hay in my backpack.
Are there any of the people that are still in the shrine making making animal
Yes.
noises?
Yes, there are only a few still there. You presume maybe what couldn't fit in the pens, or maybe newly affected people, because they're sort of talking in these. So they're like,
Okay. It would be weird to walk up to them and push a stone to their head, so I'm gonna go back outside.
Can I go find Tennille?
I guess I want to touch the stone to one of
Yeah.
them, but yeah, I don't want to like.
Yeah, you step in
Yes.
to the
Okay.
shrine, and you see him kind of looking around surreptitiously with his orb kind of
like
nearby.
yeah.
So I kind of see what's going on.
You can walk up and
Tennille! I like walk up to you and be like, how's it going? And like slap some straw like in your hand as I'm walking by.
Hey, Blue.
It's like, feed it to them.
I'm gonna walk up and try to
Maybe
bite
they'll
it,
like
eat it
you
out of
and you can touch them.
Bat, yeah, the cat
Make a
player.
sense check.
yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna go outside and kind of like try to do like a weird like thing.
Okay, you do make an attempt, and you are able to touch the stone to the like temple as the human man, sort of an older man with a big white beard,
Wow, you would pick the old person.
kind of trying to eat. And Elopia comes by and says, "Oh, don't encourage them! Don't encourage them! Come now! We're trying to cure them of this, not encourage them to be like this."
I'm not trying to encourage him. I'm trying to collect information.
Well, do it elsewhere. We're trying to have some decency.
As I'm walking up, I'm just gonna go, And then I'll
Very
walk-
well. Well, if you're not going to be helpful here, go elsewhere.
If you're not gonna be helpful here, go elsewhere.
It's like the worst like kid you're arguing with.
Yeah,
Repeats
seriously.
everything back.
Except perfect.
Except perfect.
Yeah. Renostus and Slate, what are you guys doing? I haven't heard from you two.
I'm hanging out. There's no particular interest for him.
Okay.
Slate straight.
I would just be recording everything that I'm saying in a little notebook.
Okay.
I'll be peeping the notebook, I guess. I got nothing else to do.
Got it. All right.
I
So,
guess.
where are you guys going to next? You are heading off to the hanging hoof.
Anika
And you
does
guys
not
see
care
her
if
sort of
anyone...
quickly striding
I'm
toward
just
that.
gonna like do my stone touch and kind of like at the fire Elopia and then follow.
Okay.
We're the worst person at any petting zoo.
Yes. Yes.
Is anyone else following? Anika?
Yeah.
Renostus is. Flo is.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of hang out. I want to keep watching these people. I know they don't want to encourage it, but I'm just gonna keep watching.
Okay. So you go to the Hanging Hoof, sort of a pretty basic looking tavern, lots of wood and stuff like that. A few big bull horns and stuff like that hung above the bar, but it's been kind of converted into a sick bay, med bay kind of area. Lots of individuals either missing limbs or with crushed arms, fingers, toes, that kind of stuff. Some individuals with pierced with arrows and things like that, pierced or hurt from like crushed ribs, things like that. So various kinds of injuries being tended to by other individuals moving along. You see another individual wearing the sort of raiment of Seoul, very old looking rock gnome, not someone you recognize from the village or from the town, who seems to be tending and attempting to heal some other individuals. You also see a large half-orc man wearing the armor of the Mirror Blades, greenish-brown skin with black dreadlocks kind of tied back together. He's got a uniformed over his armor with a mirror stripe and red quarter cloak on his shoulder, as befitting his rank. And he kind of turns and says, "Oh, well, newcomers, huh?"
Hi, I'm Anika. A family that I've heard of in here. We just came from Solney.
I see. Well, I am Captain Ulcidides Exacticius of the Scout formation that was sent here, and it is good to have external sources making it good to know that some are starting to make their way from Solney to here, though I sorely wish that you were accompanied by a battalion or two. In any case, yes, I believe we do have some wounded, as you can see, here and upstairs. Is there a particular individual you're looking for?
Bria?
The Goliath, yes?
Yes, the guy.
She's upstairs.
Okay. And she'll bolt towards the stairs.
Very, very well. And he kind of steps aside for a second. He's kind of a little, like, kind of he seems like a reliable guy, but he's a little out of his element with everything going on. And he's kind of seeing the remaining individuals coming forward. Yes, well, a lot of new individuals. Can I ask what it is that you're doing here, or is she sort of the lead in this one?
We're following the little one.
Ah, well, quite a scattering movement, I suppose, but perhaps I could prevail on you for a little bit of assistance as we attempt to make our move and exodus toward Solny with our wounded. It would be a great boon if you would be willing.
Who is in there with me? Is it just
I
me?
think most of the party is. Ren
Yeah,
went.
yeah.
I think everyone but the cackler.
What are you needing?
Well, a large portion of our forces are still mobilizing. As a scout force, we were one of the first over here. We never thought it would be so bad, and many of my soldiers were either stampeded, howled to death by these strange hounds, bitten, broken, or turned mad, as I'm sure you've seen. Our horses all went crazy. We had to put them down ourselves. Hugard Dan and I, the town's lawmaster, have been working to evacuate and make for Solny. We're beginning to mobilize and working to get things moving with escorts. We've sent a few caravans already so far. We're worried about covering our exit. Most of our attacks and the stampedes have been coming regularly from the east, and more individuals go crazy every time they strike. Sometimes accompanied by satyrs, minotaurs, other human hybrid beast creatures. In any case, I believe Hugard Dan knows a little bit more about the origins of these attacks, or perhaps not so much the origins, but their location. They seem to be convalescing around one of the easternmost pastures. I'm not a local here, so I don't understand quite as much about the local customs or culture here, which might have been involved. I'm going to use the bathroom really fast, but think about what you guys are saying. Anika is heading upstairs, so we'll get to her in just a second.
Well, I mean, I imagine it would be a good idea for us to help them since we have to go back to Solny anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe figure out stuff about
Just let 'em
family
burn.
and
Easy.
then
Yeah, we're evil
and then
now.
help them get back.
That'd be sure.
Thankfully, we have a substantial amount of gold left over to get ourselves back into the city. Something like 2 gold a head, so that's 12 gold for all of us, plus another 4 gold for your parents.
Bringing them back. Adorable.
Just make sure that we save that amount of gold.
Oh, no, we have plenty of
Literally
gold.
just
Yeah,
sitting
yeah.
out there mimicking animal noises back to them.
Oh. Again, you are the worst person at a petting zoo.
True. No, she was the worst person in the thing.
Well, no, I wasn't like making the people noises at Elopia. I was just kind of like at her because she's being.
Well, I mean, more the
You're right,
feeding
you're right, I am
animal,
worse.
you know,
Okay.
when you're not supposed to.
You always blame the parent. You never blame the kid. Just saying.
Still Neil, the parent in this scenario?
All
Catholic
right.
certainly is.
Sorry about that. Okay, so the captain, Alcibiades, has just mentioned that. So those of you who are down there, is there anything you guys wanted to say in response?
He mentioned going to talk to how do I spell Hugard Dan?
Hugart Dan, Hugart, and then Dan.
Dan. Okay, I was almost right. Haha. We can speak to this Hugart Dan before we depart. I imagine we'll be here for a bit and we'll be helping. We'll be going back to Solony anyway, so we might as well help.
That would be greatly appreciated. And he kind of gives you, and I can help coordinate, but frankly, we don't necessarily need more assistance with moving the wounded so much as covering our exit and perhaps even a strike force outward. Once you've discussed with Dan the plan, but my envisioning is to have you go and investigate this ranch where these animals seem to be convalescing, and perhaps create a distraction buying us time before meeting up with us again.
When do you plan on leaving?
This next turning is the plan.
Based on what you've seen, do you have any advice on distractions?
I don't know exactly. It's still a fair distance, just that it's the epicenter of these attacks where these creatures seem to be receding toward and coming back from each time. My best suggestion is to draw their attention, perhaps trap them, and make your way. But obviously, if you're able to find a way to cease these attacks, that would be even greater. If nothing else, we will be making our way beginning before the start of next turning. Each turning, the start, a few hours past the turning itself, seems there is a attack pretty regularly. And we wish to make our way out before this occurs. If you could also make your way to this ranch, I believe it's the Damden Ranch. Hugardan will know more, but I believe that is the case. If you could strike there, or at least make some kind of distraction. I see that you're a diverse group of individuals. I hope that your skills are equally diverse. If so, perhaps you might be able to equip or set yourself up for a better success.
Well, we were certainly successful with that herd. Right? Well, Chirp isn't here, but there was
Fio's
fun.
Trying not
Some
to
of us-
look at anyone
Some of us were more successful than others.
Ah, yes. Well, I know that experience. These herds are quite challenging, and having multiple different herds coming from different directions has been quite a challenge. We're starting to get some of the herds and hounds circumventing our barricades. This is why we are attempting to make our egress as soon as possible.
Well, we will speak to Dan.
Yes, you'll find him in the law house, toward the center of town. All right. So on the second floor, you head up, and all the doors of the various inn rooms are open and things like that. And as you're like getting up and you're kind of peeking in and out into the different things, you see Ola, who's sort of the proprietor of the Hanging Hoof Inn, and it looks like you can see her. One of her left leg has been cut off, like above the knee, and it's just like a mess of bandages and elderly woman. So she's sort of, kind of looking like she's having a hard time. But a couple soldiers are kneeling and moving her onto a stretcher. You kind of go a little bit farther in, and you come to another room, in which you see the back of a sort of middling height, red-skinned tiefling. Black hair, and she's cloven hooved, but kneeling in front of another wounded individual who's stretched out, long, tall, not quite as tall as Slate, but still very tall. Warrior tattoos sort of appearing over her shoulders. But what you're noticing most of all is she's got what looks like a denting in on her ribs. And she's missing in her entire right hand. Just sort of halfway up the mid-arm.
Good thing you have two.
And neither of them seem to be noticing the tiefling sort of murmuring and kind of, caressing the hair of the fallen female Goliath.
Anika will enter the room and sort of gently put her hand on the tiefling's shoulder.
And for a second, she sort of, not now, Theo. And then she kind of sees it. And she kind of just quickly enfolds you into a big, oh my darling, it's good to see you. And she's just wrapping you in a huge big hug. What about you here? Well, say hello, say hi, and you kind of, and she goes, oh, and kind of taking in that you're seeing this Goliath woman here in her hurt state, and she turns and kind of looks at you for a second and closes her eyes and says, "Hey, little Weaver, how are you doing?"
Well, better now that She starts crying a bit. No,
Better than me, I can tell.
I mean, laughing and crying a bit. Well,
Come here. And she kind of sits up as best, and she's like, and Nadia is sort of like, careful, love. And she kind of gives you like this one-armed hug as much as possible from her good side. What brought you over here?
I mean, I don't know if you've heard, but there was an attack. I was worried about my parents.
Yes, well, I did notice. And Nadia sort of like, Anika, come on. Bria's sort of like, it's fine. Yes, I tried to stand in defense, but there were too many. These attacks are getting worse and worse. It seems that old Dan and this new captain are trying to get us to move out. I would help in this strike force that they're trying to put together, but I'm a little bit without my axe hand. Are you, and sort of Nadia's saying, well, are you going to help escort the wounded? Or perhaps assist Captain Alcides?
I don't know the exact plan. I think my friends were talking about it when I ran up here.
Of course,
But,
of course.
Yes, we're gonna assist as... It's good to see you. We're gonna assist as best we can.
Well, you brought friends. Well, why don't you bring them up and we can meet
Okay.
them?
Okay. Yeah.
And Nadia's sort of like, are you sure you want... And Bria's sort of like, well, they're not going to see me any worse. It's only up from here.
Sure. And she'll go downstairs, sort of gesture for them to come up, and then immediately run back into the room. No.
Seems we have been summoned.
Yes, well, if you need any further information, coordinating the timing of the attack or anything, I'll be here.
So it's everyone but the cackler. Yes. Alright.
So you guys head on up, and you see the pair that I described as you follow Anika in. You see the sort of red-skinned female tiefling, black hair and black eyes, cloven hooves, sort of a classic tiefling look. But in nicely knit clothing, kind of more homey kind of look to her. Definitely looking very tired and weary as she's looking upon this burly, to your eyes, Slate, short Goliath at only 7 feet, but sort of in a sort of tank top style, and you can see the sort of warrior you see, and you actually recognize some of the tattoo.
I recognize something?
Yeah, you recognize some of the tattoo work, and it sort of strikes a familiar chord in your head.
Huh.
And you see these two individuals, and Bria looks up and says, "Hey, little Weaver. Well, it looks like you brought a big, nice group. Why don't you get us all introduced? I'm sure all of you will forgive me if I don't get them."
So it's kind of hanging back a little bit further.
Okay,
Yeah.
She's still there. She can hear everything, but
got it.
So, these are my parents, Nadia, pointing to the tiefling, and Bria. Let's see, got Slade over here. Flo is the blue one, sort of standing in the back. Got Renostis, and then this is Tennille. He brought me to Brody in the first place.
I'll bow and I'll do a bow that makes Galen proud, like a very perfect bow.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah.
And then where's Chips?
Her last they left her.
we'll be like, I'll go get him and like dart out.
Okay. Well, as you're doing that, Bria sort of looks around from looking up, from the floorboards and stuff that she's rested on. Well, it's quite a mixed group, and she kind of looks at Slate for a second, and she just says, "One strength."
Do I recognize the phrase?
You do not.
Tough.
I'll respond back with one strength.
You're a poser.
I'm taking a guess here.
You're an absolute poser.
Do I recognize the... You said I didn't recognize the tattoos. Do I know what they are?
Go ahead and make
I've
a
seen them?
general intelligence check.
Are you a smart Goliath?
Yes. Am I a good roller? No.
Whoa.
What is it?
I gotcha. That, my friend, is 14, a natural 14.
Cool. That's a 17 then.
They strike a familiar chord, and they're clearly depicting sort of crossed and interwoven like axes and stuff like that. But otherwise, you don't recognize their significance.
Okay.
You go down to collect the cackler.
I've been doing things.
What have you been up to?
There. I've been trying to communicate with as many of them as possible to gather as many animal noises as possible.
Okay, you have
Oh my
sustained
gosh.
quite a series of bad looks from Elopia,
Okay.
but otherwise also added quite an array of goat, cow, and sheep noises to your repertoire.
Array of goat, cow, and sheep.
And Flo, you see him sort of repeating back the sort of and then Cackler's just sort of repeating the same thing back.
I'm just gonna stand behind him and like giggle, even though my eyes are a little misty right now.
You, Waterborne, take him away. He's bothering all of them.
You can't tell me what to do.
Well, in this case, they're my patients, so yes, I can. Do we have a problem here or what?
We got a
Apparently
problem
you
here
do.
or what? And I'll like strut away. And, like we're like clearly mocking her posture.
The whole group is children. What?
As you like come towards me, I'm gonna like grab your arm and just be like, glare at her and like walk back towards the.
Okay, so you go back through,
Yeah.
and you see some of the individuals, the captain, who seems to be helping move, and his various soldiers and scouts helping to move some of them wounded and start loading them on neighboring wagons by the inn itself. Sort of parked beside it. You head upstairs, and you are introduced to Nadia and Bria as well. It's been a while since I've seen a dark feathered folk, but it's good to see.
Come on.
Good to see that you have quite a mixture of friends, and Nadia's sort of like, yes, well, we should let Mother Bria rest here a little bit, but perhaps we will be seeing you soon. Are you helping with the escort?
Are we helping with the escort?
We need to go speak to Hugar Dan, yeah. The lawman.
Yes, the Master of Law, Hugart Dan. Well,
Oh man.
as you whatever you get up to, I know that we'll be on one of the later movements, as we are less severely. As much as I beg to differ, we're not among the more severely injured, and we'll be one of the later wagons and trains out. So perhaps you can meet up with us as we make our exit. But in any case, stay safe, please.
Do you want me to try to get into the shop? Try to get anything out?
You're welcome to whatever you can find in there, but that's not really our priority at the
I
moment.
mean, of course.
But I understand. A lot of memories there and all. But perhaps we should focus on what we can do to help with this situation a little bit first.
Yeah, probably.
And Bria kind of looks at you and just says, "Do us proud. Help Dan as much as you can."
That's all I ever want to do, Mama. And she'll sort of take out of her pack, I've been making things while I've been away, and give them each a scarf.
Oh, this is lovely. This is very lovely. And Bria sort of like, yes, the warrior's scarf. Lay it on me.
It's not. I mean, you are the one who taught me how to spin yarn.
Oh, I know. I just like my little jokes.
You always do.
I'll walk up to. So Bria's the wounded, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I'll walk up to Bria. I'll cast Cure Wounds on her.
Okay, go ahead and roll. D8 plus your modifier.
Can heal.
I'm
Right.
a main healer right now. Oh, let's go. 8 plus which modifier is that? My spell?
Your
Wiz-
intelligence.
My int.
Hmm?
That's
Artificer.
10.
10 total. Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. So, what does your healing look like? How would you describe how you do healing?
Just like point a cannon and they get healed at.
No. My healing will just be like a single like little talon, like a little talon touch, and like a little tap, and that's it. There's no flare, no nothing. Like,
No
literally
flare?
just a little talon touch.
Okay. So it's just like talent touch, And yeah, you see some of the dented ribs kind of ripple and realign a few. You can tell she would need more than that to be perfectly well, but
Yeah, I'm not trying to make her perfectly well, just to make her enough for my debt.
yeah. She looks up at you and says, "Thank you. That that does help. Thank you."
I don't know if the little one mentioned it, but we have secured a place for you to stay in the city if you want to take it. My uncle has offered his home to you when you get there safely.
Oh, this would be lovely. That sounds excellent, and perhaps you can show us more of your work along the way when we get there. And Bria's sort of looking a little less happy and sort of saying, "What do we owe him for it?"
That's fair.
I owe him, not you.
Well, then perhaps if you need a favor at some point, I can help repay this somewhere down the line.
Well, I think there will be no need to repay Tennille, right?
No need.
Well, I would be honored, but in any case, I think we will be here for a moment or two first as I gather my strength. I'm sure you've sped that process up a little bit. And she's kind of gesturing with her bandaged, and she's sort of like, I'm sure you have sped that up a little bit, so thank you for that. But I think now I will rest. I apologize that I'm not at my best at the moment.
Mama, you don't need to be. And she's been a little bit crying. Like, she's been stoic through most of this, but a bit.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I don't want to know. And
We'll
it's like,
find out.
I don't want to leave, but I suppose I must. And she'll go gently hug Bria and then just pull Nadia into as like tight of a hug as she can.
She has broken ribs too. She
Kinda
just walked.
takes the hug and returns it with force and just says, "Come back to us. Help us get where we need to
I
go."
will, Mummy. I will.
Okay, and be safe out there. There's terrible things. But at least you've got capable friends, it seems. She kind of glances over at the cackler, noting what he had done, and just says, "Thank you
I'm the hero.
for what you did."
Here's something, yeah.
On the as I'm walking out of the room, I'll kind of toss like a hand up and toss a healing word at her as I leave.
Wow.
Okay.
Peace out, heal.
Peace out, heals. It's 6 heal. It's 6.
Okay. And you sort of just get this sort of cooling wind,
Do some pals.
and you sort of see some of the color return to Bria's cheeks a little bit more. And she sort of just kind of sighs and rolls her head back and kind of seems like she's going to sleep. So, as you guys are making your way out of the Hanging Hoof, is there anything that you guys wanted to do?
And like she's gone from a little crying to just
I'm gonna
sobbing in relief.
Look helplessly at Renastus. Like, what do we do? I don't know what to do.
What should I
I do like
do?
should we should we hug her? I don't know. Look at it flow. I like.
We'll just go in for a hug.
Big old bear hug.
This, what is it, like 7 foot tall, 7 foot tall furbolg hugging a 5 foot tall half orc. There are stranger sights, but not too many. And with that, as you're sort of at least confirming that your parents are still alive, if not fully intact, you're now able to think forward about the next stages and meet up with this Hugart Dan and see what else you can do to lend help. Certainly you feel, at least you, Anika, feel very motivated to lend whatever aid you can. But for now, that is where we're going to leave off for tonight and tonight's session. That's a good stopping point, right? We're at Brightmeadow. Got a little combat in this time. We'll stay tuned for next time. Next week, we'll be back at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the next iteration over here and in Lumoria. So thank you guys very much for tuning in and watching. And check us out on YouTube, DragonPoetSociety.com, Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff at DragonPoetSociety. So check us out and enjoy your week. See you guys next time.
Thanks, you guys. See you
Good night.
Bye.